pardon me, let me start over. I forgot to hit the button. They say, and the apostles, this is Mark 6:30, and the apostles gathered themselves together unto YESHUA and told them all things, both what they had done and what they had taught. And he said unto them, come ye yourselves apart into a desert place and rest a while. For there were many coming and going, and they had no leisure so much as to eat. And they departed into a desert place by ship privately. And the people saw them departing, and many knew him, and ran afoot thither out of all cities, and out went them, and came together unto him. And he said, and YESHUA, when he came out, saw much people, and was moved with compassion towards them, because they were as sheep not having a shepherd, and he began to teach them many things. And he said, when he saw the day was now far spent, his disciples came unto him and said, this is a desert place, and now the time is far past. Send them away, that many may go into the country round about, into the villages, and buy themselves bread, for they have nothing to eat. Now when we look at this here, when he said he looked upon them, now we're going to deal with this part with him, hooking them up with his food. But you see how he said he was as sheep as no shepherd. Y'all see that now? Now, is that the same thing with the people going on right now, that they moving about as sheep with no shepherd? Because if they don't have no shepherd, what does it basically say they don't have?
No pastor.
Yeah, no leader. I want y'all to look at 1 Samuel. I'll show you something right here. And we'll take this to Numbers. Y'all hear me all right, or y'all phone just on me? Like, I don't hear nothing, sir. Alright? Because I know there ain't nothing but a couple of y'all. We look at 1 Samuel, I think about 16.
So when I was on that, I was watching somebody else and following in?
No, you weren't. 1 Samuel 18, about verse 14. You tie these two things in a couple things. Look what he said. It's saying, David behaved himself wisely in all his ways, and Yah was with him. Wherefore, when Saul saw that he behaved himself very wisely, he was afraid of him. But all Israel and Judah loved David, because he went out and came in before them. So now he's saying, we sitting here and we looking at David, and it said David behaved himself wisely and God was with him. But when Saul seen how David carried himself, he feared him. But you see why it said Israel and Judah loved David? Because he went out and came before him. Why do you think Israel and Judah now would love YESHUA? Because he said he had compassion on them, because they was a sheep with no shepherd. What does a shepherd do? He leads them in and bring them out, don't he? Let's look at the law, see what the law says, and we'll tie back to him to behaving himself wisely. Look at Numbers 27. Numbers 27 and 15. Numbers 27 and 15. And Moses spake unto Yah, saying, let Yah, the God of the spirits of all flesh, set a man over the congregation, which may go out before them, and which may go in before them, which may lead them out, and which may bring them in, that the congregation of Yah be not as sheep which have no shepherd. So if a shepherd's going out before them, that means he lead them out. And then he bringing them back into where they need to be at the rest too, don't he? And then he said he lead them out, and he bringing them in. See, that's the whole difference. Now he's saying the same thing about David, that he did the same thing, that he brought him in and he let him out. But yet David wasn't no shepherd in the sense, he wasn't teaching the people no word. He was a man of war though. But guess who else is a man of war? Say the Lord's a man of war too, ain't he? Yeah. He coming back to war. He said he brought the people in, and he brought them in, and he came in before him. And he stood out before him, and then he brought them in to have rest. He defended the people, and he led the people. But let's come back to this, what we're looking for here. About him having compassion towards the people. See how we want to roll this in. But he said that David was wise and that Yah was with him. So let's see something. Look at Proverbs 3. Then we get back over here to these gospels really fast. Proverbs 3 and about verse 1. Let's see why David had favor with Yah and Yah was with him. Then we tie it into the Lord. Everybody ready? Y'all ready? Proverbs 3, verse 1. My son, forget not my law, but let thy heart keep my commandments. For length of days and long life and peace shall they add to thee. Let not mercy and truth forsake thee. Bind them about thy neck. Write them upon the table of thy heart. So shalt thou find favor and good understanding in the sight of God and man. So how was David able to? What did it say? The book say David was a man after God's own heart. So that means he kept the commandments and he didn't let mercy and truth forsake him, did it? So then he found favor in front of man. Because what did it say in Samuel? That they was able to find favor too, wasn't it? That he found favor and Yah was with it. Don't you think if you do the same thing by trusting in God and doing what he say, that you'll find favor with him and man? That man even say, if your ways please Yah, he'll make your enemies be at peace with you. Even when YESHUA's enemy wanted to kill him, didn't he still the people to be at peace with him, that allowed him not to move until all things was to be fulfilled? Have y'all been dealing with the word and you done seen that the Lord done caused people who was your enemies to leave you alone? You the spirit of it. Huh? You have? What about you? You? Well, Pale say he have. I mean, the rest of y'all ain't really been dealing with that long. But he says that in Proverbs. I can't remember the exact spot it is. But he said, if a man ways pleases y'all, he make even his enemies to be at peace with him. See, if you doing things that please God, he even make your enemies sit down. Can we read what times, because of Yahshua ways please the Father, he's made his enemies sit down? See, let's look at Luke 4, and let's see if Yahshua had favor. Luke 4 and about verse 14. Because y'all remember what the name Israel means. That's right there. And now there's this reason for a reason for that. Look at Luke 4 and 14. Now it says this right here. And Yahshua returned in the power of the Spirit into Galilee. And there went out fame of him through all the region round about. Now we can read where it say David fame went out round about. Because remember this here. He said he taught in their synagogues being glorified of all. So if he being glorified of all, ain't he being honored? So that would mean Israel and Judah loved him, didn't he? Because he going in before him and he coming out before him. He leading them in, he bringing them out. You know what I'm talking about? Because everybody didn't hate him. There was more that hated him than loved him, but everybody didn't hate him. But the purpose is because what is the shepherd doing? He feeding the people. He taking time to do these things. Now we going back to that Mark 6. You seen how he said he came through to feed the people? But let's look at John 6 because I want you to see something a little different. Oh, looks like a page about to fall out. It already has fallen. Little stinks. See, look at John 6 and about verse 21. And it says, they willingly received him into the ship, and immediately the ship was at the land whither they went. And the day following, when the people which stood on the other side of the sea saw that there was none other boat there, save under whereunto his disciples were entered, that Yahshua went not with his disciples into the boat, but that his disciples were gone away alone. Howbeit, there came other boats from Tiberias, nigh unto the place where they did eat bread. After that the Lord had gave thanks. And when the people drew near, the people therefore saw that Yahshua was not there, neither his disciples, they also took shipping and came to Capernaum, seeking for Yahshua. And when they found him not on the other side of the sea, they said unto him, Rabbi, when come thou hither? Yahshua answered and said, Truly, truly, I say unto you, you seek me not because you saw the miracles, but because you did eat the loaves and were filled. Now we didn't read it, but you can look up back other words. When the people came up and they were hungry and he fed them. Y'all know about the miracle about him feeding people with all the bread. That's what he was about to mention in Mark 6. Y'all done heard that before. He did it like 3 separate times. Remember when his disciple, he told him to beware the leaven of the scribes and Pharisees, and his disciples say, he said, what do you mean by this? He said, man, what do you mean? You ain't talking about no bread. He said, you don't remember the time fed the 5,000 and the 7,000? He was talking about what you had been being taught. You know what I'm talking about? But that goes along the same thing. We'll deal with that in a minute. Look what he also told him. He said, you need to labor not for the meat which perish, but for the meat which endure unto everlasting life, which the Son of Man shall give unto you. For him have God the Father sealed. And see, it's a lot of people. I referenced it earlier. They were talking about what we need to do for the hood, what we need to do for our communities, this, that, there, and the other. And that's all well and dandy. But you know, at the end of the day, what were the people coming to? Were they coming for the word, or were they coming for the grub? You know what I'm talking about? They weren't coming for the... Because he said, you ain't coming because you seen no miracles. He said, you came because you ate. And when you look at it in the natural sense, we could be doing all types of stuff in the community, but at the end of the day, they're not going to be coming for the word. If we was giving away clothes, they're not coming for the word, they're coming for the clothes. If you was to give away medicine, they're not coming for the medicine. For the word, they're coming for the medicine. They ain't coming for the word, they're coming for the food. See, when they were sitting there, they talking about Yahshua gave away free health care. Yahshua ain't give away no free health care. That was the power of God. Didn't the scripture say he had to come and work these type of miracles? We just touched on, we didn't read it, but Elisha rose that lady's son from the dead. Were you aware of that? So, and you know who else rose somebody from the dead? It's another prophet rose somebody from the dead too. Exactly. You got Elijah, and who did the disciples said that people said the Lord was? Elijah. They said that he said he's Elijah. He's Jeremiah. So it would make sense that he would come and raise people from the dead because you have a template of it. You know what I'm talking about? Now you seeing him feed people. Let's see if we got a template of that. Go to Samuel, about chapter 18, if I'm not mistaken. First one. Pardon me, everybody. All right. think it's about 18. No, it actually might be 2 Samuel. It is 2 Samuel. 2 Samuel 17, pardon me. 2 Samuel 17 and about verse 24. Second Samuel 17 about verse 24. It's not a David. Say then David came to Manahem, and Absalom passed over Jordan, he and all the men of Israel with him. And Absalom made Amasa captain of the host instead of Joab, which Amasa was man's son, whose name was Ithra, an Israelite, that went into Abigail, the daughter of Nahash, sister to Zerah, Joab's mother. So Israel and Absalom pitched in the land of Gilead. And it came to pass when David was come to Manahem, that Shobai the son of Nahash, a rabbah of the children of Ammon, and Machar the son of Amaliel, of Lobadar, and Bazrilai the Gittite of Rogelim, brought beds and basins and earthen vessels, and wheat and barley and flour and parched corn and beans and lentils and parched pulse, and honey and butter and sheep and cheese of kind, for David and for the people that were with him to eat. For they said the people is hungry and weary and thirsty in the wilderness. Now when we sit and look at this here, he said these men came in there to do this here. Now this ties into what we just started out in Mark 6. Didn't it say the people that the disciples went out and they told the Lord the things they taught the people? He said because they came in to do this here, because he said the people were hungry and weary and thirsty in the wilderness. If you're in the wilderness, where you at? You in a parched place, a place that's lacking vegetation and moisture. So when we look at it, when we walk around in this earth, we in the wilderness lacking thirst, and we hungry for the word, hungry for thirst. That's why the Lord got to send people out to feed you. That's why he said he looked on the people with compassion. See, hold on, where's that other spot in here with David when David did the same thing? Because they got mad at David for giving people food. He said, how you going to get these people here? They stayed back. But he said it ended up being a statute and the ordinance in Israel for this. I want to say it's 1 Chronicles. Let me see what it is. It might be 1 Chronicles. Not 1 Chronicles. It might be the end of 1 Samuel. Just was looking at this too. You alright over there, Jim Dandridge? You gonna be able to roll this evening? Because he fell out last night, boy. That nigga was so sleepy he didn't even know how he got into bed. 1 Samuel 30. Huh?
It's smooth, didn't it?
Yeah, I'm talking about, I seen when you got up. You were good and drunk too. 1 Samuel 30. And about 20. He said, David took all the flocks and the herds which they drave before those other cattle, and said, this is David's spoil. And David came to 200 men, which were so faint that they could not follow David, whom they had made also to abide at the brook Besor. And they went forth to meet David, and to meet the people that were with him. And when David came near to the people, he saluted them. Then answered all the wicked men and men of Belial of those that went with David, and said, because they went not with us, we will not give them aught of the spoil that we recover, save to every man his wife and his children, that we may lead them away and depart. Then said David, you shall not do so, my brethren, with that which y'all have given us, who have preserved us and delivered the company that came against us in our hand. For who will hearken unto you in this matter? But as his part that go down to the battle, so shall his part be that tarried by the stuff. They shall part alike. And it was so from that day forward that he made it a statute and ordinance for Israel unto this day. And you know what that's similar to? Let's look at a parable. Because he said the same person that went to battle, the same person that stayed behind, they get the same thing, don't they? Get the same reward. Ain't that what he said? Let's look at Matthew. Let me find that parable where he said the same thing. You might have to help me remember what this parable is. Oh, never mind. Here we go. Matthew 20. Thank you, Lord. Should be straight on to it. Matthew 20 and 1. Praise the Lord. Matthew 20 and 1. He said, for the kingdom of heaven is like unto a man that is a householder, which went out early in the morning to hire laborers into his vineyard. And when he had agreed with the laborers for a penny a day, he sent them into his vineyard. And he went out about the third hour and saw others standing idle in the marketplace. And he said unto them, go ye also into the vineyard, and whatsoever is right I will give you. And they went their way. And again he went out about the 6th and 9th hour, and did likewise. And about the 11th hour he went out and found others standing idle, and saith unto them, why stand ye here all the day idle? Now he's talking about sending forth people to preach the word. Now he's sitting there saying, why are you standing around here doing nothing? You know what I'm talking about? He said, why don't you go in here and work in his vineyard? That's the same thing when it comes to word. When a man touches you to send you to go, what you standing here being idle for? You know what I'm talking about? But it's the same thing even if you ain't been sent to preach the word. Because did the man say, let us labor to enter into his rest? He said, let us work to do the things necessary to enter into his rest. Let's work the works of God. The Lord told you the work of God is to believe on him whom he has sent. When you believe on him whom he has sent, then you're going to live a set apart lifestyle according to your faith that's in this man. So he's like this here. Why y'all sitting around idle? Why are you sitting around idly by not putting forth the work that's necessary? When it comes to your jobs or school or other things that you need to do, you work diligently for that. The Lord said, well, why won't you work diligently for the saving of your soul? He said, what you sitting around idle for? Listen what else he said. They say unto him, because no man hath hired us. He saith unto him, go ye also into the vineyard, and whatsoever is right, that ye shall receive. That man, ain't that's what David just said? Whatsoever right, that's what he gonna get, whether he went into battle or whether he stayed behind. He said that's a statute and ordinance, every man get the same thing. You seen the Lord showing you that same similitude. He said, so when even was come, the Lord of the vineyard say unto his steward, call the laborers and give them their hire, beginning from the first unto the last unto the first. And when they came that were hired about the 11th hour, they received every man a penny. But when the first came, they supposed that they should receive more, and they likewise received every man a penny. Ain't that's what the men of Belial were saying? Because we went to the battle and we was first, that we should get more than the rest of them? Because you got to look at it. No matter if you've been in the word 22 years or 22 minutes, everybody going to get the same reward, ain't it? No matter if you've been preaching for 30 years or preaching for 10 years or for 5 years, everybody going to get the same reward. Everybody going to get the same thing. Look what he telling them. He's saying when they received it, they murmured against the good men of the house. Don't think the men of Belial didn't do it. He says, saying, these have wrought but 1 hour, and thou hast made them equal unto us, which have borne the burden in the heat of the day. But he answered one of them and said, friend, do I thee no wrong? Did thou not agree with me for a penny? Take that thine is and go thy way. I will give unto this last even as unto thee. He says, is it not lawful for me to do what I will with my own? Is thy eye evil because I'm good? Because didn't say David got the spoil. It said David got the spoil. So you know if he get the spoil, what is he doing? He leading the people in and he bringing them out in. Same thing to look at the man say, is it evil for me to do what I want to with mine? Do you feel like when you got something of your own, you think if somebody can tell you what you're going to do with yours? He said, that's mine, I do what I want to with it. David said, no, man. I got this spoil. The Lord delivered these people in my hand for me to get this spoil, to impart it to the people as I saw fit. He said the same thing for him that battle, the same him that stayed behind with the stuff. They all get the same thing. Everybody's work is sufficient. Remember when we read that in 1 Corinthians 12? That, hey man, every part that's in the body, whether it be the less comely parts, we give it more honor. That everybody be equal together. You remember that? Huh? You remember that? Look at 1 Corinthians 12. Y'all got to read it because he said he don't read it. 1 Corinthians 12 and about verse 14. He say, for the body is not one member but many. If the foot shall say, because I'm not the hand and I am not the body, is it therefore not of the body? And if the ear shall say, because I am not the eye, am I not of the body? Is it therefore not of the body? If the whole body were an eye, where were the hearing? And if the whole were hearing, then where were the smelling? But now have God set the members, every one of them in the body, as it pleased him. And if they were all one member, where were the body? But now there are many members, yet but one body. And the eye cannot say unto the hand, I have no need of thee, nor again the head to the feet, that I have no need of you. Nay, much more those members of the body which seem to be more feeble are necessary. And those members of the body which we think to be less honorable, upon these we bestow more abundant honor, and our uncomely parts have more abundant comeliness. Because obviously if those who tarry behind, they don't seem like they were fit to go to battle, did they? But yet they didn't seem fit to give them the same honor, did they? So you have to look at this here. That's what a shepherd going to do. He's not going to lift up sheep one over another. I'm going to make sure that everybody has the same honor. Those that are weaker, I'm going to give them the same honor that those that are stronger. Because what it is, when you see people who got multiple siblings, and they feel like one parent is leaning towards one sibling, there begins to become jealousy amongst in the household. And then become strife between them siblings. The Lord showing the similitude, we don't operate like that. As a matter of fact, you see how they going to operate that? Go to Numbers 11. Stanley just called you, man. You going to see about that? Stanley just called you, man. You didn't hear that? He just said his name.
Huh?
Yeah. Yeah. In her mind. No. No, he's been saying that before she could actually formulate sounds.
Yeah, but she's been, no, not really. She's been saying that for a while.
No one actually believes it.
You better believe it.
You don't have any proof?
I don't need proof.
Yeah. You need some verification.
I don't need verification.
Yes. Numbers 11. Verse 23. He said, Yah said unto Moses, is y'all's hands waxed short? Thou shalt see now whether my word shall come to pass unto thee or not. And Moses went out and told the people the words of Yah, and gathered 70 men of the elders of the people, and set them round about the tabernacle. And Yah came down in the cloud and spake unto him, and took the spirit that was upon him, and gave it unto the 70 elders. And it came to pass, when the spirit rested upon them, they prophesied and did not cease. Now we're reading this entire twofold thing. Did any of y'all think that they had the Holy Ghost before the Lord came? Nicole? What about you, Nicole? I know you know they didn't have it. That's what we were going to show. Nicole, do you know if they had the Spirit before he came? I'm asking you. Of course it's going to end up being. Of course it's going to be a show. Oh, okay. Well, now you see that it said that the Spirit rested upon him. So that means if the Spirit rested upon him, that means they didn't have it. Now we'll show you the Spirit being departed, but we're just mentioning that for a reason. Let's just put something on tape. Listen to what he said. But there remained 2 of them in the camp. The name of the one was Eldad, the name of the other Medad. And the Spirit rested upon them. And they were of them that were written, but not unto the tabernacle. And they prophesied in the camp. So if they were there among them that was written, what were they written at? Huh? Because remember what he said. He said, y'all wrote a book of remembrance before him for those that feared him and thought upon his name. But he said, but they weren't in the tabernacle though. They were written in the book of life. Their names were written in heaven. He said their spirit rested upon them. He said they were there of them that were written. Anybody that's written going to be saved. So it would make sense that his spirit came upon them. So if his spirit came upon them, that means they had a heart to serve God and fear him, didn't it? That means, because remember, Moses is showing the similitude, and we're going to go to it in Exodus 2. Moses is showing the similitude of the Lord of being a shepherd to lead. Didn't he lead the people out? And did he bring the people in? You know what I'm talking about? He did all of that. Only thing he didn't bring them in the land itself. But he brought them out of captivity, and he led them in the wilderness to teach them in the way. And you see that it said the same thing about David. David was a prophet. He didn't sit down and teach no people no law, statutes, and commandments, but he was a prophet. But he led the people in as far as warfare is concerned, and he brought them in. You know what I'm talking about? You sitting there seeing the man have a couple. He said everybody loved him because he brought them in and led them out. He had favor amongst the people. All this is going back to the name of Israel, showing the similitude of the Lord, and showing that if you obey the Lord, the same thing gonna happen. That his shepherds that are up under him do the same thing. You know what I'm talking about? Because this man say they gotta lead them in and they gotta bring them out. Goes right back to what we were looking at last night. That's why the man tell you to obey them that have rule over you. Because David had rule over the people. The people loved him. Because why? Because he had power with God. And he with God and with men he prevailed. Didn't David prevail over every man that came against him? Even his own flesh and blood. Even though that those men rose up against him because of what he did with Bathsheba. But David prevailed. He prevailed above Saul. He prevailed. Even all the men that wanted to kill the Lord. Didn't the Lord prevail over all the men in the end? He rose from the dead. Them men died in their sins. So I was looking back, even with Paul, it was men who made an oath that said, boy, we going to kill Paul tonight. Said, we don't kill Paul tonight, we ain't going to eat no more. These men made an oath and a vow that said, we will not eat till Paul is dead. But what we read about last night, what Paul said. What he said, like, oh, you were asleep. You know what Paul said when he said, I'm about to go to Jerusalem being bound in bonds and afflictions? You know what he said was going to happen? You know what type of mind Paul had? Paul said, man, that don't move me. And I don't hold my life dear unto myself. David didn't hold his life dear unto himself. When Saul was coming to kill him, what David did? He cried to the Lord. Lord, do what seems fit and deliver me from my enemies. You know what I'm talking about? When they came after YESHUA to kill him, he ain't do nothing, but he ain't like this, oh, they gonna get me. He cried to the Lord, do what seems fit unto you. If it seems fit for you to let this cup pass, let it pass, but if not, let your will be done, so all men can be saved by my death. You know what I'm talking about? Straight up and down. So you got to look at that. You got to be knowing that if you following after this man and you take on his spirit, ain't you going to prevail? That's why Revelation 12 say that these men overcame him by the blood of the Lamb and the testimony by which they held. That's why they overcame him. Because they were the blood of their shepherd was able, because he lead them in, he bring them out. They following him. Ain't worried about nothing. You know what I'm talking about? So I can prevail. That's why niggas ain't going to prevail. They ain't going to never become Israel. That's why Paul told you everybody that's of Israel is not of Israel. Everybody not going to become Israel. All niggas just happy about, we Israelites. You ain't no Israelite, nigga. You ain't got no power with God. You haven't prevailed. You know what I'm talking about? Like at the end of the day, how many niggas is really prevailing? Because the man say he that overcometh, he will become my son, and I'll be his God, and he'll inherit all things. So you know, if Yeshua is Israel, he's a ruler, the power of God, doesn't mean he inherited everything his father got. So don't he told you in Ezekiel that the prince will give an inheritance to all his sons? If you his son, you born of him. If you ain't prevailed, you not his son, you got no inheritance, you nothing but a bastard. You ain't got nothing coming, you ain't prevailed. You know what I'm talking about? Because guess what? You look at it and he uses analysis of shepherd and sheep, but shepherds keep their flock. Well, a father keep their children. And what does a father do with their children? You know what a father do with their children? You got children. Both of y'all got children. You know what I'm saying? What you do? You nurture them. You cherish them. You lead them. You do the things that's required for them. You look out for them. Guess what? They ain't going to get enough. Because they're not listening to their shepherd. Sheep do what the shepherd tell them to go. And if one get astray and go out the way, he go get it. You know what I'm talking about? If your son went to acting crazy, your daughter went to acting crazy, you going to do something to go get him. You know what it is that you do to go get him? Let me go get my strap. You know what I'm talking about? Let me go get my strap. Or let me go ahead and give him some verbal chastisement. I might have to tell you verbally, chastise you verbally before I put the strap on you. See if I can talk to you first. You know what I'm saying? Because before the Lord actually put physical chastisement on us as a people, did he try to reason with it first, plead with it first? He tried to plead with you verbally first. I don't want to crack your dome off the rip. Let me plead with you first. Let's come up with some reasons why you don't want to do what I say. Okay, that didn't work? Let me kill me a nigga. Let's see if that works. You know what I'm talking about? Because before he brought any wrath, didn't he say he sent his prophets first? Let me warn him. He said, because I got compassion on my people in the place where I place my name at. Let me send somebody to warn him first. Because before you whoop your children, don't you give them a warning? All right now. Well, you know, y'all's a little young, but you done said it a couple times. You know, because Stank is a mover. I know she know what's going on. Because you have to do it, tell her no. Stank know what's going on.
She do it again. She did. I tell her, I'll probably give her 2 chances.
But before you pop him on the hand, tap him on the bum, you let him, all right now. I tell you again, and I know something. Now, that's what most black people tell their children. If I tell you again, I know something. You know what I'm talking about? And you don't want to know what I know. Because when you find out what I know, you ain't going to like it. So look at that. Keep on going now. Where we at? Verse 27. He said, there ran a young man and told Moses and said, Eldad and Medad do prophesy in the camp. Joshua the son of Nun, the servant of Moses, and one of his young men answered and said, my Lord Moses, forbid them. Look what he said. He's saying forbid them. Don't let them do it. Look what Moses told him. Moses said unto him, envy thou for my sake? Would God that all y'all's people were prophets and that he would put his spirit upon. You hear what he said? Don't envy for my sake. He said, I would that all God's people, all y'all's people could speak his word. Let's see if the Lord told you that. Because they speaking his word, that means they gathering there, no? Let's see what the Lord says. Let's see what the Lord says. Let's go to Luke. Is it Luke that I want? It could be. I might use the one in Matthew. Could use the one in Luke. Let's see. Might have to use the one in Matthew. Yeah, let's go to Matthew. Matthew 12 and 30. This is what he say. Matthew 12 and 30. He said, he that is not with me is against me, and he that gather not with me scatter abroad. Because remember what the disciples say. He said, there's a man healing people, casting out devils in your name, and he don't walk with us. Because I can't remember the exact spot where it is, but y'all know what it is if you done read it. And what the Lord said, he said, anybody do a good work in my name can hardly speak evil of me. He said, he that is with me, gather with me. So that's what Moses was telling them when they was in the camp. He said, what you mean? You envying for my sake? Because that's what his disciples basically was coming to tell him. They were envying, like, man, these people doing work in your name, they don't walk with us. Isn't this the same exact thing? Because they said, they're telling, I hear Medad and Elad prophesying in the camp. Moses said, so what? So what? You envying them for my sake? I ain't worried about them prophesying in no camp. Here it is. It's Mark 9. Let's look at it in Mark 9. The 38. He said, I ain't worried about nobody prophesying in no camp. He said, don't envy for my sake. I will hope to God that he will send all his people out here to preach that his spirit be on. Here it is. This is what I wanted specifically. He said, John answered him, saying, Master, we saw one casting out devils in thy name, and he followed not with us, and we forbade it, because he followed not us. Because that's what they were telling him to do. When Joshua was telling him to go out there and tell him to stop. Look what he told him. He said, Yeshua said, forbid him not. For there is no man which shall do a miracle in my name, and that can lightly speak evil of me. But he that is not against us is on our part. And then whosoever shall give a cup of water to drink in my name, because ye belong to the Messiah, truly I say unto you, he shall not lose his reward. You think you can do a work in this man's name and lose your reward? This man said, man, can't nobody speak lightly evil. Anybody that's really running with the Lord speaking his word, you can't speak evil of him. The book says you can only say he Lord or Master by the Holy Spirit, by the Ruach Kodesh. Ain't no other way you can say he Lord but by that. You got a lot of people saying, oh, that's my Lord. Ain't none of your Lord, nigga. You just saying that because you think that's a term or a title you can use. You're going to be showing that by how you live and how you walk and how you move. You know what I'm talking about? And when you say it, it's going to be manifested of what we told you. How can he be your Lord and you don't do what he say? Even though sheep are animals, they listen to their shepherd and that. Them people know, them animals know what to do. They hearken to the one that bring them in and lead them out. They hearken to him. That's the same thing. How we going to sit here and say we the flock of the Lord? Look at Ezekiel 34. How we going to say we the flock of the Lord? We don't hearken to the shepherd. Because the man said we need to set up a man over the congregation. You know what I'm talking about? So they don't be as sheep without no shepherd. Because when you have a sheep without no shepherd, you know what happens. You know what happened when people had no leadership and no direction? You know what happened. Yeah. But besides that, what type of mind going to people? I'm going to show you in a minute. Ain't nobody answer. We'll show you in a minute. Look at verse 23. I think we read a verse of these. That's what I meant to ask you earlier, Dwight, and it just kept slipping my mind. He said, I will set up one shepherd over them, he shall feed them. Even my servant David, he shall feed them, and he shall be their shepherd. When the people was in the wilderness about to faint, and they were hungry, did he feed them? He was showing them. That's why he said he had compassion on them. They were as sheep as they had no shepherd. Then he said he sat down and taught them. See, go back and look at the Mark 6. Look at what he did. Now, he sat back and taught them. But then he did something else after he sat back and taught them. Look at 34. It says Mark 6 and 34. And Yeshua, when he came out, saw much people and was moved with compassion towards them because they were as sheep, not having a shepherd. And he began to teach them many things. And when the day was now far spent, his disciples come unto him and said, this is a desert place, and now the time is far past. Send them away that they may go into the country round about, into the villages, and buy themselves bread, for they have nothing to eat. And he answered and said unto them, give ye them to eat. And they said unto him, shall we go and buy 200 penny worth of bread and give them to eat? And he saith unto them, how many loaves have ye? Go and see. And when they knew, they said 5 and 2. And he commanded them to make all sit down by companies upon the grass. And they sat down in ranks by hundreds and fifties. And when he had taken the 5 loaves and the 2 fishes, he looked up to heaven and blessed and brake the loaves and gave to the disciples and set them before them. And the 2 fishes he divided among them all. And they did all eat and were filled. He said, and they took up 12 baskets full of fragments and of fishes. And they did eat the loaves, and were about 5,000 men. And straightway he constrained his disciples to get into the ship and to go to the other side under Bethsaida. And while he went away, while he sent away the people, because in another spot he said he couldn't see the people going away because they had been following him for a while away, lest they faint in the way. You know what I'm talking about? And when you was looking at there with David, what them people came and said, we got to come feed them lest they faint in the way. But you see the first thing he did? See, most of them going to look at, he was feeding them food, bread and fish. But he said before he started teaching, before he started feeding them, he taught them many things. So he gave them living bread first. See, a lot of them get caught up on the fact he was feeding them flesh. That's what we was looking at in that 2 Samuel. So you go back and look at that 2 Samuel 18, that's the key thing. He said they gave them flesh to eat because they were in the wilderness and they were weary. Well, them people were in the wilderness, weren't they? They were weary. But before he gave them something to eat, he gave them living bread first. That's the same thing when he rose from the dead. He said, they sat down and broke bread and he blessed it. And niggas thinking they were sitting around eating regular bread. He said the people were weary and hungry and thirsty in the wilderness. Well, what else you going to need not to be thirsty? What you got to get to not to be thirsty? What's the best thing that you could get to quench your thirst when you're thirsty? Look at Isaiah 55 and 1. We come back to Ezekiel 34. You all right over there, Jim Dandy? Now you don't want to answer to his name, y'all. Jim Dandy. He say, ho, everyone that thirsts, come ye to the waters. He that have no money, come ye, buy and eat. Yea, come buy wine and milk without money and without price. Man say, if you thirsty, why don't you come down here and get you something to drink? But for you able to get something to drink, you're going to have to come holler at the shepherd, right? It's Isaiah 55 and 1. Let's go back to Ezekiel 34. We in verse 24, ain't it? Ezekiel 34 and 24. He said, I, Yah, will be their God, and my servant David, a prince among them. I, Yah, have spoken. This is what I'm going to ask. Look at verse 27. Right, when we dealt with that, him being the vine that bring fruit to itself, didn't we read this 34 and 27? You remember? That's familiar to you? I don't remember either. We just going to hit it quick. Look what he said in 27. Because I got to read into it to bring it into the last part of this chapter of what I came here for. Well, look at 26. He said, I will make them places around the world. Look at 25. He said, I will make a covenant of peace, and I will cause the evil beasts to cease out of the land. They shall dwell safely in the wilderness and sleep in the wood. So if he made a covenant of peace, how would he make a covenant with peace for us? How is that possible to be made? Isn't there an offering in the law that's a peace offering? Wasn't Yeshua the peace offering according to the law? Wasn't he sacrificing the same similitude as the peace offering? When they spat, you know what I'm talking about? That's what he said. That's that covenant of peace right there. Because he said, this is my blood which is shed for the New Testament for the remission of sins. In order for God to have a peace offering, he had to make this man the peace offering. So now for I made a covenant with peace with y'all. So when I bring you in the land, everything gonna be cool. If you overcome and prevail through me. He said, I will make them places round about, verse 27. He said, I will make them places, 26, round about my hill a blessing, and I will cause the shower to come down in his season, and there shall be showers of blessing. Now he just said he's going to make his hill a blessing. Where's his hill at? That's Jerusalem. That's his Kodesh hill. He said, I'm going to make it a blessing. Didn't he say New Jerusalem will be without war, no gates, no walls, no need for the sun? It's not going to be hot there, it's not going to be cold there, and it's going to be springs of water. He said God going to dwell with you, and men going to see his face, and they going to serve him. And he said his mark going to be in their forehead, which means they're going to be sealed. Remember he told you don't grieve the Holy Spirit till your day of redemption? He said don't grieve it. You know what I'm talking about? I go back to Ezekiel 9. And he said, give all those men who sigh and mourn at the abomination they thereof. He said, seal them with the mark in their forehead. Where else you can read about somebody getting sealed with the mark of God in their forehead? Right in Revelation 7 with the 12,000 out of each of the tribes, 144,000. He said, seal them. He said, do not bring any destruction on the earth till you seal my servants. That's the same thing he said to Ezekiel. He said, don't you go to killing nobody till you seal my servants. Then once you seal my servants, kill all them niggas. Young, old, women, children, all of them. Don't spare nobody, don't pay. You know what I'm talking about? See, right now, that's what when Peter said, hey, what they count as the land of the Lord, he said that's long suffering, that all can come to repentance. Because for the Lord bring forth his wrath, what are he going to have to do? I got to seal all those as mine. Didn't he say, I know those that are mine? And they know me, and thy sheep hear my voice, and they follow me. So I can lead them in, and I can bring them out. You know what I'm talking about? So if you're going to sit here and say, this man your shepherd, then what you going to have to do? You're going to have to follow him so he can lead you in, and he can bring you out. Because if you're not listening to him, guess what's going to happen? You're not going to get sealed. So when the wrath comes, what's going to happen to you? Wow, that's ugly. It's ugly for a lot of people. You ever seen that in them other countries where the people don't take heed to the warning of these people coming? But the only difference is when they come, you know the United States, you know how the United States like to go to war. How the United States like to kill people. You was in that branch of the service. How do you like to kill people? No, man, the United States very rarely ever goes to battle by putting men's 2 feet on the ground. You know what I'm talking about? Where the people don't even have a warning they coming. They just fly by and drop. They doing drone attacks now. You know what I'm talking about? But see, guess what? But see, guess what though? But before the Lord comes, before he come to battle, what does he do? He blow a trumpet. He blow a trumpet. He blow a trumpet. That's why remember last night we read about him, he said he set up watchmen. What the watchmen do? They blow a sound of alarm. That's why he told you to cry aloud. Lift up your voice like a trumpet. See, these niggas in the street thinking when he talking about you just yelling, when he telling you blowing the trumpet to warn the people, wrath is coming. Wrath is coming. You know what I'm talking about? If you don't change your ways, wrath is coming. Because that same shepherd, because David was a shepherd, right? He was a keeper of sheep, right?
I mean, when he blew that horn, it would be too late.
No, because the difference of blowing the horn is that's what watchmen do. Watchmen come out and they blow the horn to.
Talk about for like the tenors, when you blow that horn, it's too late for them.
Yeah, for them, like the seventh trump is too late. You know what I'm talking about?
So when the seventh trumpet being blown?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. That's in Revelation. When the seven, we read about it last week, we just didn't touch on it. Real deep. When that seventh trump is blown, that's the last trump. That's when the Lord come back. That's when he coming back with a shout and a roar. And like Joel said, it's got to be a loud shout and a roar. How else people gonna get out the grave? How you gonna be able to get, wake up? You don't tell nobody.
Okay.
Anybody come up to you and be like, you get up.
Everybody go get up.
Get up in the air.
But know what I'm saying? But he showed you that symbol. Who showed you that similitude about that shout of them coming about the grave? Who gave you that similitude?
That's gonna scare everybody else though.
Yeah. A dead person that been dead just wake up.
He showed you the similitude of that. Who did he cry out with a shout to tell them to come forth?
Right.
Exactly. He was showing you, and it's in the scriptures that he's showing you what it come to do. Everybody ain't gonna hear that shout. Just like how you say when people yell, you don't always get up. Well, guess what? If you're not of the Lord, you ain't gonna hear that shout. You gonna stay asleep.
Okay.
You know what I'm talking about? But if you are the Lord, he say, rise! You gonna get up out that bed. Woo-hoo. What's going on? You know what I'm talking about?
Money.
You don't know where your money at. They go to the Lord. They know more money. You know what I'm talking about? But that's because why? Because you followed your shepherd. You know why? And you know what you did when you followed your shepherd? He gave you something to drink. So therefore you had water in you to get, you know what I'm talking about? You had life because you had the word. We're going to deal with the water in a second. But look what he said right there. Then he said he'll cause the shower to come down in the season. What was that shower that came down in the season? Because what is the moon for? It's the seasons, right? And what do we use the moon to determine what's coming?
I guess we determine the month.
No, the months and what happens in certain months. Feast days, right? And they all of them in their season. What season was the blessing given down? That shower of blessing. What season was?
Oh, that was
You know?
that was Passover, wasn't it?
Do you know?
You said what? The shower of blessing?
He said that I will cause the shower to come down in this season. There shall be showers of blessing. When was that shower of blessing came down in the season? Because remember he's saying showers. What is showers? That's water, right? Remember he said I'm going to water my seed?
That's the spirit.
That's Pentecost. That's when he gave the spirit. You know what I'm talking about? Now, y'all know we tell you this all, but you see how this here, all of this tie into this man? But for some, let's look at verse 27. He say, and the tree of the field shall yield her fruit, and the earth shall yield her increase. They shall be safe in their land. They shall know that I am Yahweh when I have broken the bands of their yoke and delivered them out of the hands of those that serve themselves of them. Because that's what a shepherd comes to do. Shepherd, I got to get my sheep. See, but you know who been serving themselves are the people, these false shepherds. Hold what you got. Go to Jeremiah 23. And look at verse 1. We come by it. It tied in all together.
Oh, I see what you're saying. But that's what they say, what about the false? But that's if it's true.
But you know what he say, the tree of his fruit, the tree of the land gonna yield its increase. Who is the tree of the land?
That'll be Yahshua.
That'd be Yahshua. The tree of the field gonna yield her fruit. Who is the fruit? But the branches. Who got to yield the fruit? That's the branches. So he talking about those that abide in it. Then he say also that the earth gonna yield her increase. For the earth to yield her increase, that means that seed was planted in what? That's going back to the parable of the soil. The seed is the word. And when the seed is planted in the good ground, he said bring forth fruit. Some 30, some 60, some 100-fold. With me, when that seed was in there, we'll show you all that there in a second. Just bear with me. Proverbs, Jeremiah 23:1. Look what he say. He say, woe be unto the pastors that destroy and scatter the sheep of my pasture. This man say, woe unto y'all. See, he say, you false shepherds, y'all not bringing my people in, y'all not leading them out. You scattering them. You scattering them. Look what else he say. Therefore, thus saith Yahweh, God of Israel, against the pastors that feed my people, you have scattered my flock. You've driven them away and have not visited them. Behold, I will visit upon you the evil you're doing, saith Yah. Because that Christian people call themselves pastors, they be quick to want to go off on them, say that's talking about them, and that's talking about Israelites. Because Israelite people like to say, oh, your elder, but stupid nigga, elder is a pastor. You see Israelite dudes, Israel United in Christ, the only one use the term. They call themselves elders, and then they got deacons. So they know an elder is a pastor. Because why else would you have deacons? 99.9% of you niggas don't even fit the qualification of being an elder or a deacon. He said, y'all scattering my flock. You really not visiting them. Don't think because you standing on the corner screaming and hollering that you visiting the flock. Because remember what we dealt with when we talk about prophets. These prophets seem vain and foolish things for you. They're not turning away your captivity or your banishment. You know what I'm talking about? Therefore it can't be war. Look what the Lord said he's going to do. He said, I'll gather the remnant of my flock out of all the countries whither I have driven them and bring them again into their folds, and they shall be fruitful and increase. And I will set up shepherds over them which shall feed them. They shall fear no more, nor be dismayed, neither shall they be lacking, saith Yah. So this man say, I'm going to give them some shepherds. He said, I'm going to give them some shepherds. Remember now, we can sit there when the Lord sent these men out to teach. Remember, they came back to tell them about the things they had done taught the people. He the one sent them. Let's see if he sent them. Go back. Let me see where it is I want. Give me a second. I think it's in Mark. I think it's in Mark. I think it's in Mark. Y'all hold on one second. Mark 3, verse 14. Make it 9. Matter of fact, make it verse 7. Mark 3 and 7. But Yeshua withdrew himself with his disciples to the sea, and a great multitude from Galilee followed him from Judea, and from Jerusalem, and Idumea, and from beyond Jordan, and they about Tyre and Zidon, a great multitude. And when they had heard what great things he did, he came unto him. Ain't that's going back to showing him how he prevailed, and that his fame was in the land, and the people loved him, because they came unto him because they heard what he'd been doing. You know what I'm talking about? Look what else he said. And he spake to his disciples that a small ship should wait on him because of the multitude, lest they should throng him. For he had healed many, insomuch they pressed upon him for to touch him, as many had plagues. And unclean spirits, when they saw him, fell down before him and cried, saying, Thou art the Son of God. And he straitly charged them that they should not make him known. And he go up into a mountain and call unto him whom he would, and they came unto him. And he ordained 12 that they should be with him, and that he might send them forth to preach. So ain't that right there? He talking about he just chose them some shepherds then. He just set up some shepherds then. But hold on now. Let's see what about these shepherds. Go back to John 17.
So God chose his disciples?
Yeah, the Lord himself chose them 12. Oh, you want to see what that's at? Hold what you got. Go to Job 29 before we get to John 17.
Nah, so Jesus didn't do it. God did.
Well, Jesus is God, so he chose his 12.
Well, I mean,
he's not the Father. But he chose his 12 though. Because he said all that of the fathers are his.
Yeah.
So that means he chose them too. Look at Job 29. Job 29 and about verse 25. Look what he told them. He said, I chose out their way and sat chief, and dwelt as a king in the army, as one that comfort the mourner. So didn't he choose out the way for them 12 to go? Didn't he tell them where to go? And he said, I sat among them chief. He the head man. Didn't David direct the people? He told them where to go to. And he sat chief among them. He even comforted the mourners from time to time. But we know who the comforting the mourners, you know who that lead to. Who that lead to? Comforting the mourners. Who that talking about? That's talking about Noah. Because remember he said Noah's name mean I will comfort those that mourn because of the ground which y'all have cursed. And what is that curse of the ground? Death. Death. You know what I'm talking about? Because he cursed Adam. And what is Adam made from? Made from the ground.
So that's why we all die.
That's why you died.
Oh, wow.
That's why you died. Now look at John 17. John 17. About verse 14. John 17 and 14. He said, I've given them thy word, and the world hath hated them, because they are not of the world, even as I am not of the world. I pray not that thou should take them out of the world, but thou shalt keep them from the evil. They are not of the world, even as I am not of the world. So it's going to be quite obvious that any preacher that the Lord said ain't going to be of the world, because he said he chose them 12 and sent them to preach, didn't he? And he just said that those men were not of the world, because he was not of the world. So it would make sense any shepherd that the Lord set up ain't going to be of the world. They're going to be of heaven. Look what else he said. Sanctify them through thy truth, thy word is truth. And as thou hast sent me into the world, even so have I also sent them into the world. And for their sakes I sanctify myself, that they might be sanctified through the truth. So he said he set himself apart by the word, that the disciples might set themselves apart by the word, right? And look what else he said. Neither pray I for these alone, but for them also which should believe on me through their word. So that means he's setting up shepherds to feed the people, right? So that means those that he teaching are going to be doing the same thing that the disciples teach, because he said anybody that believe on him through what the disciples preach, right? Let's see if the disciples ordain somebody. Let's go to Acts. Acts 14. Let's look at about verse 19. No, we won't look at verse 19. Let's drop down to 21. Acts 14 and 21. And when they had preached the gospel to that city and taught many, they returned again to Lystra and to Iconium and to Antioch, confirming the souls of the disciples and exhorting them to continue in the faith, that we must through much tribulation enter into the kingdom of God. See, that's from that same thing we read last night. See, a lot of them don't realize that man say through much what? Through much tribulation. You're going to have some trouble. It's going to be some sufferings and afflictions before you enter into this kingdom. A lot of y'all ain't willing to suffer that type of stuff. A lot of y'all didn't know that came with it, did it? You didn't know you were going to have to suffer some tribulation, much tribulation to get in.
But that's because we were cursed, though, right?
That ain't got nothing to do with that. Didn't the Lord take on some tribulation and suffer? Did the Lord suffer? He got to be proved. The man told you I'd take you through the furnace of the affliction.
Oh, yeah, that makes sense, though. Yeah, you got
Yeah, exactly. That's why they went into. You got to be proved, man. Look here, man. Anything that's worth having, you gonna have to go through something to get it.
Yeah.
Was it easy for you to begin to craft your skills in music? Was it easy for you to begin to craft your skills on the basketball court?
Of course, it is God. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, you know you told a lie when you said that. Your footwork still needs some work.
Yeah.
Your fundamentals are lackluster. No, not debatable.
I really don't be playing for real out there. It's not never need. I really play for real.
I've seen your footwork. I'm not impressed.
You have to play for real.
No, I mean, there's not
Never
talent level to play for real. So.
But y'all understand what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Through much tribulation. Nicole, were you aware through much tribulation you had to get in the kingdom? What about you, Brittany? I know, Pale, no. Y'all knew that? That man say through much, he said he exhorted. Look what he said now. Listen to what he's telling you. Now listen to him. He said he's exhorting. He said he confirming the souls of the disciples. So if you confirming the soul, what that mean that you doing? You stamping to see, okay, I got to confirm and make sure it's good. And you ever confirmed the dinner date? You ever confirmed the airplane ticket? Got to make sure it's good. So I got to confirm the souls of the disciples. And he said, I'm exhorting them. I'm encouraging them to stay in the Word, to stay in the YESHUA. He said that we must through much tribulation enter into the kingdom of God. Y'all ever knew you had to go through some tribulation to get in here? He said much, not a little bit, much. Much. Did y'all know that?
I mean, okay, so when you say tribulation, I mean, like, the stuff you're going through now?
The stuff, what did the Lord tell you? He said, in the world you'll have tribulation, didn't he? He said, but me, you'll have peace. He said, be of good cheer. I've overcome the world.
Oh, yeah, I know what tribulation is.
That man said, I know your tribulation. I know your poverty. He said, but thou art rich. Remember what we read, Paul? We just read it last night. Paul said, I got to go through bonds and affliction. He said, oh, none of that moved me. If you're going to be in the Lord took on tribulations and sufferings. If you're going to take on his spirit, ain't you going to have to take on the same thing? How you not going to take that on? Nicole, you knew that through much tribulation you was going to have to get in the kingdom. You was going to have to do some suffering. That's why you can't be snapping on people all the time. That's why you got to keep yourself reserved. It's going to be some stuff. That's what I would tell you, Brittany. You can't get your hands up, want to throw your hands up and put your hands on people all the time. The man say through much tribulation, that's what you're going to have to suffer to get in here. People going to trouble you. Then we just read last week about a man say, deliver us from ungodly men who all men don't have faith. He said, deliver us from these men. That's what Paul asked him. He said, go to the Lord and ask him to deliver you from this man. Everybody ain't got no faith. You know what the problem is with a lot of people? Y'all think everybody got faith. Yeah, that's a lot of y'all problem. That's a lot of y'all problem. You think everybody got faith. You know what I'm talking about? Guess what? Everybody does not believe. Everybody does not love God. It's just what it is. You know what I'm talking about? I'm talking about significant others, children, family, friends, people you done dealt with. Man, look here, man. I learned that quick. I seen that real quick. Everybody don't love God, and everybody don't believe. How many times, as far as the men is concerned, Pale no, how many times you done sat down, you just had your heart cracked a couple weeks ago. You knew it was true, but you didn't want to deal with it. When you seen that with the man who came in, who began to teach you the word, you seen clearly and plainly something I had been telling you for 3 years. That man didn't believe. Never did. He don't believe. What did he say? Y'all using conjunction and symbolism and all this here. Oh, you just don't believe. You know what I'm talking about? Because remember the man say, if I'm your shepherd, you gonna follow me. He said, you don't follow the voice of strangers. Let her sit there and look at it. Y'all heard strangers all y'all lives. But when you heard the voice of your shepherd, you followed him. And you no longer went after strangers. It wasn't because of me. You heard him. When you heard him, you said, that's my shepherd right now. Not talking about me. I'm talking about the chief shepherd, chief bishop. The chief bishop and shepherd of our souls. We return it back to him. You know what I'm talking about? We returning back to him. You heard his voice. You say, I'm out of here. Now if a stranger come along talking, if you don't hear your shepherd's voice, you're not gonna follow him. You're not gonna listen to him. How many times I told you, if you see another man saying the same thing I'm saying, then you know that, hey, the Lord with him, you should hearken. But y'all can tell the difference now. Some of y'all, you can tell, boy, the Lord ain't with him. I don't hear him in his voice. I don't hear him. You can tell the difference. The man say, look at Proverbs 8. We come back to this verse. Look what he said in Proverbs 8. We come back to this verse right here. To this verse here in Acts, because we ain't finished what we wanted here in Acts. But what you say, Pep? When you say that there, because I seen it. I had been telling you that for the long. I seen that crack you real decent. Not in like, but you know, you just had to go ahead and accept the truth. This man don't believe. This man don't believe. Proverbs 8, I'm sorry, in verse 32. Because that's what it was. You can put things out there plainly. It's full. Because I'm going to tell you, niggas irk me to no end with that, you reaching. That's conjuncture. That's symbolism. Symbol your butt to hell. All that stuff we just looked at just now. Was that symbolism or did it line up? When they say, well, why are you letting them prophesy in the camp? You seen the Lord came through and did the same thing. Man, say I'm a prophet like under Moses. Man, say him you going to have to hear. Man, come through and do the same thing Moses did. But that's symbolism. You all right over there? What you doing? Oh, you want to fight? You want to go?
You. It's my go talk to you. Can you talk?
This is what he say. I can't do nothing with it. Proverbs 8 and 32. Now therefore hearken unto me, O ye children, for blessed are they that keep my ways. Hear instruction and be wise, and refuse it not. Blessed is the man that hear me, watching daily at my gates, waiting at the post of my door. This is what a man say. He say if you need to hear instruction, you need to be wise and not refuse. See, a lot of people they don't hear the instruction, they ain't wise. That's why they refuse it. Because I want to do what I want to do. I don't think that's right. See, brother, that's your understanding. That's your interpretation. I interpret someone is going to hell. You know what I'm talking about? That's what I interpret. Look what else he say. Blessed is the man that hear me. See, he say you blessed when you hear. He say not blessed when you hear me. He say blessed when you hear me, when you hear him. And that man say, and then you watching daily at my gates and waiting at my door. See, a lot of y'all ain't watching and you ain't waiting. Daniel told you that. Blessed is the man that wait. Then these niggas Israelites, go back to Acts 14. These Israelite niggas be quick to say, y'all waiting on God for nothing. He wants you to do something. What you mean? Abraham waited on it. Jacob waited on it. David waited on it. He could have killed Saul. He didn't do it. Did he wait for the Lord to avenge him? He didn't do none of that. Yeshua waited on it. We don't sit there and look at these men's behavior and don't even have enough common sense for let's mimic that behavior. Let's mimic that faith. Man, showing you this here. All of them waited on y'all. All of them. All of them. You know what I'm talking about? And then a nigga, a retarded, stupid, unbelieving, unfaithful nigga gonna tell you not to put your trust and wait on God. Not just any God, but the living God. The living God of Israel. The Kodesh one of Israel. Yahweh is his name. Through his son, Yahshua the Messiah, our Lord. They tell you don't wait on him. They say how we gonna sit here and talk about a kingdom and we don't set up a kingdom ourselves. What I look like setting up a kingdom in captivity? What I look like setting up a kingdom in America, a land that's soon to be destroyed? What I look like doing that? These niggas talking about setting up a kingdom. Ain't none of you niggas talking about getting an army together and taking Jerusalem back. So I'm going to wait on the man who's been commissioned and ordained. Till he say, I set him up as a captain of the people. What he told you in Isaiah? I said, I made me want a captain and commander of the people. I'm going to wait for him to come back. I don't want no kingdom nowhere but in Jerusalem. What I want a kingdom in Jacksonville, Florida for? What I want a kingdom in New York City for? What I want a kingdom in Arkansas or Michigan or California? I don't want no kingdom here. God damn this place. And anybody who loves it. Straight up. You nigga want to set up a kingdom here? I hope you die here. And I tell nigga that to their face. I hope you die here. You want to set up a kingdom here? I hope you die here. That is my honest and earnest expectation, that you die here. Because obviously you don't believe God. Wouldn't you say that? Would you agree? Would you agree? You know what I'm talking about? I understand ain't nothing wrong with wanting to do nothing for your people. Who is not saying, hey man, we need to teach our people how to grow our own food. We should be buying our own stuff. But guess what? You could have did all of that in your land. And you think that man gonna let you come over here and do that? He might let you do it to a certain extent. But it's not going to be on no mass level. Because you know what's going to happen if he lets you do it on a mass level? God been found alive then. Because he told you what. Because if you're able to produce your own clothes and your own food, wouldn't that mean you would have the ability to stand before your enemies? That would make God alive then. And then them niggas say, oh, you niggas hiding behind the curses. You can say what you want to say. The man word stand. I ain't stupid enough to fight against God. Exactly. Like I said, all these things these brothers want to do, we could have did it in our land if we just would have followed the shepherds. If we just would have heard his voice. We could have did all that in our own land. You ain't finna do it here. I don't want to do it here. If that man told me to leave right now, what you think I'm finna do? What would you do? Nigga, I ain't even trying to take nothing behind. Even if you tell me, dog, don't even go back to your house and get no clothes. I'm good. I go right here and whatever. It's 30 degrees outside. I deal with it. I ain't even got no shoes. My slides got a hole in it. I still win it. I'm out of here, nigga. I've been wanting to go. If them people gave me $1 million cash or $1, just give me the ticket. I wouldn't care if it's on a boat. I wouldn't care if it's on a helicopter. Just get me the hell away from here. See, and you know what the end of the day is? They don't want to go to Jerusalem. How many of y'all want to see Jerusalem other than seeing it on photos? What about you?
Of course.
Yeah, I've never been over there.
You know what I'm talking about?
That's our home.
I want to see. I want to go home. This ain't my home, but let's go here because we getting home. But I mean, it is what it is. I don't be knocking brothers for what they want to do, but you got to be, because there's a lot of people who saying that we need to set up our kingdom now. What's the thing? If you got a kingdom, what do you need? You need a king. Where the king at, nigga? Where is the king at? Because ain't none of you niggas the king. So if we set up our own kingdom, who gonna rule it? Oh, we brethren. Now you gonna come up with that excuse when he say, oh, all y'all brethren. But somebody got to be a king in a kingdom. Somebody got to rule it and run it. When have you ever seen a kingdom or a nation that didn't have a leader? When you ever seen that at?
No.
I'm talking about not never. Not never. I'm talking about nowhere in history have you ever seen any kingdom set up from beginning to time didn't have a leader. I'm talking about even on a football team you got a leader, it's usually the quarterback. Even on a basketball team, what's the first thing they say? He's the leader of the team. It's LeBron's team. It's Kobe's team. It's always going to be one man that's going to be the one that everybody going to look to for direction. Okay, what? Even on jobs, it's always one employee. Y'all might be low employees, but it's always one employee everybody look to because they know what he's doing. Now, would you say that on your job? That could be accurate. I mean, you might not like him, but you know if somebody end up that if word came to worse, niggas know. You know what to do. But that's the same thing. He the boss, he the leader on it. Now I'm just saying, every now and then you got someone who's not a manager per se in title, but everybody know that nigga know what to do. I can look to him to get direction to get something done if I was unsure of what I was doing. That nigga know every job, but there's some bro. Nigga regular employee, but nigga know that nigga can run the whole store. He could be a manager if he wanted to. Choose not to. Could you be a manager where you working at if you wanted to?
Not right now.
I said if you wanted to.
Not right now. It's a lot of stuff you gotta learn about that. You moving free.
I hear you. I hear you. But continuing on. Verse 23 in Acts 14.
You said freaking trucks that go way across country, man. You gotta learn that stuff.
Yeah, I imagine. He said, and when they ordained them elders in every assembly and prayed with fasting, they committed them to the Lord on whom they believed. So it sounds like that they just set up shepherds, didn't it? So it seemed like the chief shepherd took 12 men and sent them out to be shepherds. And then they went out and say, then he prayed that those that should believe on him through them. And then what did they turn around and do? Set up some shepherds. And then the cycle continues on. Don't that kind of line up with the book right there? You see the whole pattern right there. Because you go, what did Paul tell you? You can't believe on this man without a preacher. You must have a shepherd. It's going to be impossible. Just how you just said, it's a lot of stuff you got to learn to build the load and freights up. How you going to be saved? You ain't got nobody to show you. You know what the problem is in Israel? Don't nobody want to have no shepherd. They don't want to see that Hebrews 13 we read last night and obey somebody who got ruled over. When we just read in the book of Acts last night, the man say the Holy Spirit done set up the men to be overseers. Another word for shepherd. Another word for pastor. Another word for elder. Because if you're an overseer, you overseeing the flock and you watching the sheep. Got to make sure none of them get out. Got to make sure they get their food. Got to make sure they get their drink. That's what a shepherd's supposed to do. You see repeatedly, he said do what? Feed them. He fed them. The man said, I was moved with compassion. They were sheep without no shepherd. We just read what Moses prayed. Don't let the people be as sheep with no shepherd. Don't let the sheep be running around here and ain't nobody to feed them. That's why niggas is out here reckless like this. See, this is what happens since they don't have no shepherd. This is what happened. Go look at Judges. Judges 21, last chapter of the book of Judges. Judges 21, about verse 24. I wish I could unfollow this right about now. And it says, and the children of Israel departed thence at that time, every man to his tribe and to his family. And they went out thence from every man to his inheritance. In those days there was no king in Israel. Every man did that which is right in his own eyes. And that's what's going on right now. And that's what's going on right now. Since men don't have no shepherd, they doing what seems right in their eyes. They doing what's right in their eyes. Because that's what happens. And you know what the people doing? They setting up their own shepherds. Move over here to the same book, 17th chapter, same book. Verse 1. Look what happened. They setting up their own shepherds. Because you seen that it say the apostles ordained men to be shepherds, didn't they? They ordained men to be elders. And the Lord ordained them to be shepherds. Well, all of them, you know what I'm talking about? And then he was ordained to be a shepherd. He was ordained to be a pastor. That means these men were trained in the word to teach the people. The people didn't set him up. Let's see what happened here in Judges 17:1. He said there was a man of Mount Ephraim whose name was Micah, who said unto his mother, the 1100 shekels of silver that were taken from thee, about which thou cursed, and spake also in my ears, behold, the silver is with me. I took it. And his mother said, Blessed be thou, Yah, my son. And when he restored the 1100 shekels of silver to his mother said, I wholly dedicate the silver unto Yah from my hand, for my son, to make a graven image and a molten image. Now therefore I will restore it unto thee. Yet he restored the money unto his mother, and his mother took 200 shekels of silver and gave them to the founder, who made thereof a graven image and a molten image, and they were in the house of Michael. So money that was of Yah, this woman turned around and said, I bless God to make an idol. You know what that's going back? What Paul say? I wouldn't have you sit down at the table of the Lord and the table of devils. You cannot eat at the table of the Lord and the table of the devil. Are you more powerful than him? He said, are we to make the Lord jealous? Ain't that's what she about to do? She about to worship another God or something that belongs to God. Pure stupidity. Look what else happened though. And the man Micah had a house of gods and made an ephod and a teraphim and consecrated one of his sons who became his priest. Then he said he set apart one of his sons to be a priest. Say the Lord didn't do it, Micah did it. Look what else he said. In those days there was no king in Israel, but every man did that which was right in his own eyes. So it seemed right for him to do it. So guess what happened? Hold what you got. Look at 2 Timothy 4:1. See what happened? That's what people out here living like that right now. I'm going to do what seemed right to me. See, we can't be living like that. Oh, it seemed right to me, so I'm going to do that. I'm going to do that. It seemed right. Actually, 1 Timothy 4:1. It seemed right, so I'm going to do that. No, you're going to go to hell. That's what you're going to do. You know what I'm talking about? You can't be walking around here doing what's right in your eyes. You can't be around here setting up people to be your own shepherd and priest. Because that's what these people be doing.
Oh, that's how you get the Sunday too.
But I'm talking about Israelite camp too. You got some niggas watch 2-3 videos on YouTube. Niggas stand out here on the street. Niggas say, that's my elder. Niggas set up their own priest. Because what is a priest supposed to have in his mouth, what? The law in his mouth. And he's supposed to do what with that law that's in his mouth? Turn many from iniquity. That's what a priest do. That's what the post say. Say the priest is supposed to keep the law in his mouth and turn many from iniquity. These niggas ain't keeping the law in their mouth, nor are they turning anybody from iniquity. They turning people to more iniquity because the people doing what's right in their own eyes. Setting up their own shepherds. The Lord didn't set you up. You set up a man. He tells you that in Ezekiel 3. If the people set up a man to be a watchman upon their coast, the Lord didn't set him up. He told Ezekiel, I chose you to be a watchman. I sent you to do it. He sent Yeshua to do it. Yeshua sent the 12 to do it. The 12 sent other men to do it. You know what I'm talking about? That's why Paul said, how can you preach except you be sent? Nigga, just like Pinky said, nigga, who sent you, nigga? See, when you see certain people with the word, they go to preach, that's the first thing you should look at them, just like Pinky said when he seen IQ, nigga. Who sent you, nigga? You ain't got to throw the nigga in there. You know what I'm talking about? But who sent you? I need to know who sent you. I need to know who sent you. Did you send your... Remember what he said? I have not spoken to these prophets, yet they have ran. I have not... He said, but they prophesied. I ain't sent them, yet they ran. Nigga, were you sent, or did you just get up and run? Because you know what a lot of people out here doing? They just getting up and running. Ain't nobody sent you. That's what you need to ask. Who sent you, man? Because wouldn't you be able to think you would be able to ascertain if the Lord sent somebody? Because he said, I chose out their way. We know what is the way. What is the way? What does the book say the way is? Yeah, but I'm talking about, but what does the scriptures testify that the way is? Because the way is Yahshua. And what did Isaiah tell you the way was? It's a highway there. And it's going to be the way of what? The way of holiness. The way of holiness. So if y'all, he said, I chose out your way, you're already going to know. The way is, the book say the way is perfect, it's undefiled, and it's holiness. And Yahshua is what? He just said, I set myself apart by the truth, didn't he? We already know he was undefiled. And we know that the man was perfect because he said, everyone that is perfect shall be as his master. So I'm sitting here looking at you. If you're not manifesting the way in word, but most importantly in deed, in your lifestyle, in your action, I know ain't nobody sent you. You just got up and ran. Nigga taught you a couple scripts, you just took off. Because you look at most of these Israelite niggas, some of these niggas got, the niggas we ran across in Him and Plaza, these niggas had some makeshift garments, talking about they hate the white man this, you got on his clothes, got on his shoes, you know what I'm talking about? Then you talk trash about the man, you got on all his apparel, you got a garment that you look like you made in 15 minutes. You know what I'm talking about? It's that long, it's faded, it's dusty, you know what I'm talking about? It's dingy. You know what I'm talking about? Nigga, your hair ain't cut. You ain't your edge all messed up. Your beard messed up. Nigga, you look like a castaway. And then you gonna stand out here talking about you gonna preach me some word, man. You cussing me out. And they already know the Lord ain't sent you. When you ever read about the Lord sending men and men out with place cards? You niggas got big old posters and place cards. I don't need no poster and no place card. Ain't got no time to be looking at this. Because that's what you're trying to draw people in with your attention with is your poster. When the word should be drawing them. The word should be drawing them. Because guess what? Did we need any posters and place cards? Or you just heard the man's voice? You know what I'm talking about? Some of y'all, I ain't even mad in the flesh. Man, he had no poster, no place card. You just heard the man's voice. He said, that's my shepherd. That's my king. I better go and hearken to him. I hear him. Then he say, blessed are you that hearken unto me and hear my voice. Because that's all in his shepherd going to say. They're going to say what the shepherd who sent him to say. That's why you look at the similitude today. That's why he was a shepherd. He was a keeper of sheep. He was showing you what the Lord would come to be. A keeper of sheep. Jacob was showing you that. All our forefathers, you know what they were? You know what they were? They were shepherds. Jacob kept sheep for a while. That's what he told you in Hosea. Abraham these men were shepherds. They said that when we went when they came into Egypt. When Joseph was ruling. You remember that period? You know what he said? He said the Egyptians hated shepherds. They looked down on them. Y'all didn't know that, did you? I'll show it to you, man. Hold on. Look what he say here in 1 Timothy 4:1. He say, now the Spirit speak expressly that in the latter times some shall depart from the faith, giving heed to seducing spirits and doctrines of devils. Ain't that's what's happening in our Judges? They depart from the faith. He taking heed to seducing spirit and devil. I done set up a false God. Now I done set up men to preach it. Because if somebody teaching doctrines of devils, they take a false prophet to teach it, don't they? Look what else he say. He say they forbidding people to marry and commanding people to abstain from meats which God created to be received with thanksgiving to them which believe and know the truth. For every creature of God is good, nothing to be refused if it be received with thanksgiving. For it is sanctified by the word of God and prayer. Stupid people take that as you can eat any type of animal you want. But if he said it's sanctified by the word of God, what that mean? What that mean? Exactly. I mean, I set apart a cow to eat if that's what you so choose to do. I set apart a chicken to eat if that's what you so choose to do. I set apart a goat or a lamb to eat if that's what you so choose to do. Because what he's talking about is you got people that's literally teaching people they committing sin if you eat meat. Oh, y'all didn't know that? You know that, Pam. You know something. They don't come out, a lot of them don't come out and say it directly, but they allude to it. You know what I'm talking about? I don't care if a nigga don't eat no meat. You know how I feel about that. You don't want to eat no meat? More power to you. I'm going to eat it though. That's just me. You know what I'm talking about? I don't care if a nigga don't eat no meat. Do what's good for you. You know what I'm talking about? Like I said, I might like chicken. You might not. You think I'm going to clown you because you don't like chicken? You like, you know what? I don't eat that. I don't like that. That's great. I'm not mad at you. You know what I'm talking about? You got Hebrews. I don't know if you done seen it. I done seen Hebrews that get offended at other Hebrews because they say they eat meat. That wasn't the diet before the flood. That may be true. That may be true. You know what I'm talking about?
But we post for that.
Oh yeah, Yeah, now we ain't with all that. Them white folks going up in here to these steak houses. I done seen them say it at the L house. Oh, that's too much. I don't want that. Ain't enough blood in it. What? Like I told you the other day, nigga just might get the cow and just bite him on the bite. What's the sense of going to? You just might want to go to the grocery store, just pop open the plastic and just eat him. Just throw the whole piece of meat in your mouth. You know what I'm talking about? But I say, like you say, we post flood. I don't care what you eat. Long as it's clean and it's lawful before God, I don't care what you eat. Like I said, I go, shoot, I've been on Pale of Vegan. Don't we make allowances for you? Y'all bring your own food, but when y'all came around here, we made sure you had something to chew if you wanted to chew. Straight up. I don't despise him because, oh, you a vegan. Like I said, Dwight said, hey man, we finna cut meat out the diet. I bust your balls a little bit. Oh, nigga. You can eat meat, but I'm gonna eat it. You do what you want to do. But at the end of the day, I ain't mad at you. Why would I be? You know what I'm talking about? And guess what? I'm gonna do the same thing Paul said. Look here, if y'all sit down, y'all don't eat no meat, I'm gonna sit down and eat with you. I'm not gonna cast a stumbling block before my brother. I eat meat. I ain't vegetarian. I ain't eating that. That's just flat out stupidity. You know what I'm talking about? And then knowing full well, if they come into my house, I ain't gonna cook a full spread with meat knowing the man don't eat it. That's just dumb. Now you done cast another stumbling block. Now you give your brother a chance to speak evil of you because you know the man don't eat no meat. And he walk in the door, you got steak everywhere, burgers everywhere, and then he looking at, well, what I'm gonna eat? Oh, you can eat you some bread and cheese. Nigga, what? No, we make some meat. We put something to make sure that man got something to eat. Nigga don't even think like that. Nigga don't even think like that. They don't even have enough mind to say, okay, my brother's a vegan. I know what he gonna make when I come over there. So I'm good with that. You know what I'm talking about? Now, I know you didn't enjoy Nell's vegan lasagna.
Yeah, it was disgusting.
I liked it, though.
It was disgusting.
I liked it, though. I mean, it wasn't filling,
No, it was disgusting.
but I liked it, though. It wasn't nasty, you know? It was cool. I mean, I ain't that picky of an eater. Like, if you make something, I'll eat.
I eat whatever you cook.
It's just, you know what I was talking about. I'm a bodybuilder. I need that protein. You know what I'm saying?
That filling crap.
Okay, you didn't like that.
Mm-hmm.
It wasn't nasty, though.
No, filling crap is nasty.
Okay, man, each his own. I ain't mad at it. But y'all understand what I'm saying, though? Okay.
Yeah, you're right.
Y'all just keep that in mind. Because there is some amongst us, because Nicole don't eat meat too often. It's very, you know what I'm saying? So we have to keep that in mind and know who eat what and don't eat what. Because, you know what I'm saying? Especially when the Lord permitted all us to be together on feet, there's certain stuff people not going to eat. So you have to keep that in mind. You know what I'm talking about? But you do got people in certain camps around here that will look down and crazy on people because we eat meat. Guess what, nigga? Feel how you want to feel. I bet I smash my filet mignon and eat them by themselves. Yum, yum, nigga. Straight up. You got your vegan game. Yum, hey, nigga, you full? Yeah, I'm full. Everybody good? I'm good. I might eat some of your vegan stuff too. I just like to eat. You know what I'm talking about? Mm-hmm. But nevertheless. Hey, I lift weights though. I got a reason to be hungry. Yeah. You know what I'm talking about?
I ride bikes.
He don't even lift no weights and he hungry. Can't put on a slab of muscle, save his life. Nigga eat like a bodybuilder though, I tell him that. Am I lying? Nigga eat like a bodybuilder. Hold on, I got sleep. Oh, I can't even lean back with it. I don't want to even put that on there for nobody to see. Hold on. Okay, it's it. You see that right there, boy. You see that, Pete? I ain't want nobody to see that live. You put him back down. He say, if thou put the brethren in remembrance of these things, thou shalt be a good minister of Yahshua the Messiah. Oh, that's my cousin. Nourishing up in the words of faith of good doctrine, wherefore thou hast attained. You know what I'm talking about? So you got to sit there and look at that. As a good minister of the Lord, you're going to keep in mind certain things and you're going to bring them to the people's mind so that they can have the words of faith and good doctrine. That's what a shepherd should do, ain't it? But see, false shepherds had these people listening to devils. Go back to Judges 17. No, my little cousin would hit me last night asking me all these questions about the word. Mm-hmm. So I sent him a message earlier and say, well, if you want to know what we preaching, this is what to go look at. You know what I'm talking about? Because I told his son specifically, I got a particular office. I can prove my office. He said, well, how can you prove it? I said, all you got to do is just to listen to what we preaching. That itself will prove it alone. Because what the Lord said, my doctrine is what? He said, it's not mine, but his that sent me. If any man do his will, thou shalt know if the doctrine is mine or not. That's all y'all. That's what shepherds come to do. They don't come to teach what they came to teach. They come to teach what the man who sent them to teach. Back to Judges 17. Look what he said here in verse 7. He said there was a young man out of Bethlehem, Judea, of the family of Judah, who was a Levite, and so he sojourned there. And men departed out of the city from Bethlehem to sojourn where he could find a place. And he came to Mount Ephraim to the mouth of Micah as he journeyed. And Micah said unto him, Whence comest thou? And he said unto him, I am a Levite of Bethlehem, Judea. I go to sojourn where I may find a place. Micah said unto him, Dwell with me, and be unto me a father and a priest. And I will give thee 10 shekels of silver by the year, and a suit of apparel, and thy victuals. So the Levite went in. And the Levite was content to dwell with the man, and the young man went unto him as one of his sons. And Micah consecrated the Levite, and the young man became his priest, and was in the house of Micah. Then said Micah, Now know I that Yah will do me good, seeing I have a Levite to be my priest. So now he done set it up in his mind that God gonna do him good. Because he done took him and set him apart a priest in his house, where there's a house where there are graven images. So this man set up in his house a graven image and a molten image in his house. And had a house of false gods, and say, look here, doing what's right in his own eye. And he say he paying the man to do it. Look at 2 Peter. That's what time, right? That's what they out here doing. Israelite dudes do it too. So one thing I know about Israelite dudes, they like to put Christian people on blast, but they don't never like to talk about what they're doing. 2 Peter 2:1. Second Peter 2:1. He said, but there were false prophets among the people, even as they shall be false teachers among you, who privily shall bring in damnable heresies, even denying the Lord that brought them, and bring upon themselves swift destruction. It's a lot of Israelites out here speaking damnable heresies. Wouldn't you say, Phil? It's a lot of them. And then they deny the Lord who brought the doctrine. How many times you done sat there and heard people say, they ain't talking about the Lord. That's not what the book meant. They do it every single day. Book being fulfilled, talking about him all the time. Coming with doctrines of devil. You can get your 4 or 5 wives. You can get married, divorced, and marry another woman while your wife living. You can get you a woman and sleep with her, and if you don't want her, you can put her away and get you another. I'm talking about that's your concubine. It's okay for you to sin every now and then. The Lord will forgive you. He said, if any man sin, let him know that you have an advocate in heaven. You're making that as an excuse. You ain't got no business sinning when the man say he that abide in him don't commit now. But nevertheless, look what else he say. And many shall follow their pernicious ways, by reason of whom the way of truth shall be evil spoken of. How many people around here follow these wicked niggas, and then when you come to bring the truth, they speak evil of it? Perry, you just seen it 2-3 weeks ago when we were talking about that there where you can't have no multiple wives. They were speaking evil of the way. Oh, that's conjuncture. Well, David this and David that, this, that, there, and the other. Y'all don't know you fulfilling this book. And you following the ways of wicked men. And then get upset with me because I don't want to listen to you. Men done set up, the men done set around, and you done set your, who told you was an elder? Who told you was a pastor? Who told you was a teacher? Who told you was a moray? Who sent you, nigga? Who sent you? Why ain't none of you niggas preaching the Lord to me? Why ain't none of you niggas preaching for me to live clean? Why is not my faith being strengthened in this book, but somebody easily can come shake it? Why is you niggas debating about, is a Shire or higher this man name? Why is you niggas still arguing about, is he God or not? Why y'all still arguing about that? Why y'all still arguing about that? Why is you niggas arguing about, is the white man Esau? Why is you still arguing about that? Why y'all running down Sunday Christians day in and day out? You know the people doing wrong. Why don't you live an example and show them how to live right? How you gonna tell somebody to do something you ain't doing? I just don't understand. Look what else he said he gonna do. And he's saying through covenants they shall with feigned words make merchandise of you, whose judgment now of a long time linger not, and their damnation slumber not. He say so through your lust of certain things you want, he said they're gonna make merchandise of you. You know what I'm talking about? Now when you sit there looking at this here, he came and offered that Levi priest some money and some clothes, didn't he? He said, oh yeah, I'll come in here and sit up here and be your priest. Yeah, you got these idol gods in here. I'll be your priest though. He making merchandise of them, didn't he? Because they doing what's, because he said there wasn't no king in Israel, right? They doing what's right in their own eyes, ain't they? So he was making merchandise of them. He said, I'll pay you this money. I'll give you clothes. Be my priest. Be to me a father. I'll be to your son. I'll be my priest. Like this here. Guess what? Your damnation ain't slumbering. It ain't sleeping. It's waiting on you. This ain't thing they doing now. These people can't even sit there and see the correlation of man sitting there telling you what it is. You have to sit there and look at that. Look what else he tell you. He say, for if God spared not the angels that sinned, but cast them down to hell and delivered them into the chains of darkness to be reserved unto judgment, and spared not the whole world, but saved Noah, the eighth person, a preacher of righteousness, bringing the flood upon the world of the ungodly. and turning the cities of Sodom and Gomorrah into ashes, condemned them with an overthrow, making them an example unto those that should live ungodly. So you need to sit there and look at that. Knowing that the flood in Sodom and Gomorrah was an example of those who lived ungodly, why would you do it? Really? You got time to play on the phone, everybody? What you got going on over there, man? Is that really important right now? Nevertheless, what was he holding? Ezekiel 34? What else was he holding? Are you reading on your phone?
No, 120.
Okay, tell me something. Jim Dandy. Go back to Ezekiel 34. Look at verse 29. You know, he took us in the direction he wanted to go. Hey, y'all all right over there, Bridget and Nicole? Y'all all right? So you got it on mute. Now you see, he ain't gonna let me catch you talking like I did last week. Huh? Verse 29. He said, "And I will raise up for them a plan of renown, and they shall be no more consumed with hunger in the land, neither bear the name of the heathen anymore." What's that plan of renown? What's the plan of renown? Come on now. What's the plan of renown? Now, this shouldn't be too difficult. Who know what the plan of renown is? Nicole? Brittany? Everybody don't answer at once, huh? Huh? What'd you say, Phil? Yeah, that's the tree of life. That's the Lord. Maybe you say you wouldn't hunger. Maybe you say the tree of life will give forth the fruit in the season and to be for me. Okay, look at verse 30. Thus shall they know that I, Yah, their God, am with them, and they that even the house of Israel are my people, saith Yah, and ye my flock, the flock of my pasture, are men, and I am your God, saith Yah. So that means if they the flock of his pasture, he's going to be leading them in and bringing them out of it. Because he say them false pastors, they've been scattering his flock at him. Scatter them everywhere they go. But look here, but for him to do that, then he got to do something with his flock. Let's go to Exodus 2. Oh, well, we didn't take too long today. We rolled last night. Exodus chapter 2. I'll show you that thing in Genesis about us being, our forefathers being shepherds in a minute. Exodus chapter 2 about verse 12. Make it 11. Make it 10. Exodus 2 and 10. It said, "The child grew, and she brought him unto Pharaoh's daughter, and he became her son. And she called his name Moses, and she said, Because I drew him out of the water. And it came to pass in those days when Moses was grown that he went out unto his brethren and looked on their burdens, and he spied an Egyptian smiting a Hebrew and one of his brethren." Now you see, she called him that. He said, "I drew him out of water." You know what I'm talking about? But guess what? Yahshua draw us out of water if we're going to be born in him, because we're going to have to be drawn of the Spirit. You know what I'm talking about? But that's another matter for another time. And he looked this way and that way, and when he saw that there was no man, he slew the Egyptian and hid him in the sand. And when he went out the second day, behold, 2 men of the Hebrews strove together, and he said to him that did the wrong, "Wherefore smite thou thy fellow?" So you see what he's doing right here? That's blessed are the peacemakers, because they shall be called the children of God. When you see your brethren going against one another, you should be trying to cease them from fighting. What niggas love to do? Pick up a phone, hit camera, hit video, and what they like to scream out. Not that there. World Star. And they want to load it so everybody can see it. Brittany, you done posted that picture the other day. She the nosy nigga like to be looking out her blind trying to watch what people are going on in the neighborhood. Blinds always bent. Talking about this, looking out the window watching. Like this here, want to get on texting niggas and calling niggas. They out there fighting, girl. They out there fighting. You know what I'm talking about? Don't be ashamed. You know you do it. You might not do it now as much now. You know you do it. They out there fighting. Yeah, you know it. Look at this here. I'm talking about Brittany stay around here doing this here, peeking out the window. I'm talking about trying to see something. Yeah, hey, don't be. I'm saying though, don't be no busybody in other people's matter. Keep them black niggas. Niggas know like this nigga walk past their house, she knows it. How you know? Look at the blind, cuz it's bent. You can see where the finger always there. Sure you do. Sure you do. Sure. You think they don't know. Niggas know nosy niggas. Touch your nose. Touch your nose. You think don't. You don't know what the people don't know. Nigga. Look at this nigga here. So knows that she keep the lights off so a nigga can't see her shadow when she peeking out the blinds. That's shame. That's good and shame. We're continuing on. Continuing on. But look what he said. He said, who has made thee a prince and a judge over us? He just said, who made you a ruler and a judge? He was similar to YESHUA. Because they didn't want him to be a ruler and a judge over them either. They said, we won't have this man to rule over us. He said, haven't you read in the scriptures the chief stone, which the builders rejected, has come the headstone of the corner? And he said, this was Yah's doing. It was marvelous in our eyes. Wasn't it Yah's doing that Moses was to come show this similitude? This is what they asked him. Who made you a ruler and a judge over us? They was looking at YESHUA. Who made you a king? Who set you up a king? We ain't got no king. Hold on, it was something I want to see. What it was. I had something prepared for this. I got to remember where it was. Y'all give me a second. I had something prepared for this. It got to come to my mind in a second. It'll come to my mind in a second. Come over here to First Chronicles, y'all. Come on over here to First Chronicles. I think it's in First Chronicles. Well, not chapter 4. We'll deal with it in a second. Y'all bear with me. It's something in First Chronicles that I wanted. I said something, seen something earlier today. That stuck out in my mind. Who was dealing with the same thing about who made you king over us. People didn't want to listen. And well, I know the same thing was that happened with Israel and Judah though. Y'all know what they told David when David became king? You know what they said to Judah? They said, you ain't got no part with you. You know what I'm talking about? We won't have him to rule over. Of course, it was of y'all. We'll come back to this First Chronicles 4. I got the word First Chronicles 4 in a different fashion, but it was something I seen earlier. And now it just done slipped my mind. They go right along with that. But you see how these people sit there and say, who made you king over us? Because it was like, where is it at? Lord, bring it back to mind. Because it's tied right back in the when they were about to kill the Lord. What did they say? He said, what did Pilate say about what the Lord was to them? What did he say he was? Exactly. And they say we have no king but who? Because they said they didn't want this man to rule over them. They didn't want this man to rule over him. And there was a similitude to this here in another spot. I just seen it more. And I bet I ain't even marking. I can't even remember where it was. Golly. Watch it come back to me later when I ain't thinking about it. I can't even sit there and tell you that what it was. What it was I was looking at. Give me a second, man. I was just thumbing through and I ran across this. Ah, there it is. Come on back there. Praise the Lord. 1 Samuel 8 and about verse 3. That's what it was. 1 Samuel 8 and 3. Because they basically did the same thing that they did during the time of Samuel when the Lord came. But look at verse 1. It said, it came to pass when Samuel was old that he made his sons judges over Israel. Now the name of his firstborn was Joel, and the name of his second was Abiah. They were judges in Beersheba. And his sons walked not in his ways, but turned aside after filthy lucre and took bribes and perverted judgment. And that's what we heard about what Peter was talking about. Ain't nothing new. Ain't nothing new. He said, then all the elders of Israel gathered themselves together unto Samuel and Ramah, and said unto him, behold, thou art old, and thy sons walk not in thy ways. Now make us a king to judge us like all the nations. So that's when the people, when they asked for it, say, hey, Caesar's our king, they wanted a king like the nations did, didn't they? They said, we rejecting the Son of God to be our king. We don't want him to reign over. Look what he tells them. But the thing displeased Samuel. And when they said, give us a king to judge us, Samuel prayed unto Yah. And Yah said unto Samuel, hearken unto the voice of the people and all that they say unto thee. For they have not rejected thee, but they have rejected me, that I should not reign over them. That's going right back with the Lord. Because what did the Lord say about the men who would not reign over them? What did he say to them? He said, for them men that would not have me reign over them, he said, bring them hither that I may slay them. Because remember what he said. He said, if you continue to do wickedly, I'll kill you and your king. Guess what happened to Caesar? Let's look at what happened to Caesar. Not just Julius. Let's go to Acts. Let's see what happened to Caesar. Yeah, let's see what happened to him. Because that's who they wanted to reign over him. They said, we want Caesar our king. We ain't got no king but Caesar. This nigga ain't going to be our king.
Oh, so that's why Pilate washed his hands of it.
Yeah, Pilate already know. He said, I don't find no fault in this man. He ain't did nothing wrong. I don't find no fault in him. I'm trying to remember where that place is. Man, Patty, you remember where that place is where he got hit with the worms? You know where that's at? Jim Dandy. So what? So, that's how you feel? All right. I'm going to hold you to that in about 13 minutes and 45 seconds. I'm going to show you a bone. I said, I'm going to show you a bone. I didn't say nothing about mine. I'm going to show you a bone. And you ain't going to like it, nigga. And you ain't going to like it. I already see I'm going to have to whoop me somebody. Anybody want to help me do it? Like this here, nigga. Go put some socks on, cuz. Go put some socks on, man. Nigga walk around here with his pants covering up his feet. Nigga too lazy to put on some socks.
What I got on my feet?
Cause I gotta look at him.
Huh? How you worry about what I got on my feet?
Cause I gotta look at him.
Nigga, go put on some lotion. Ask you, nigga.
Give me something then.
Nigga?
That's what you do. That's what you do.
You can give me some socks then, man.
You got socks?
Yeah, you got lotion.
No, I don't actually. Look at
my feet. I'm asking how ankle you got.
So do. I ain't got no lotion, cuz. What you want me to do?
Drop my ass in.
So this. It's Acts 12. I was born with it. Acts 12 and 19. I was born with dry skin, cuz. I told you I used to have to put Vaseline on.
Why you stop?
Because my skin ain't as dry as it was.
The best you lie.
Oh, no, trust me.
Look at them knees. You see them knees. You see how like them knees, like you been.
Because they haven't been moisturized in a couple days.
Like you just been,
Nevertheless, Acts 12 and 19. He said, when Herod had sought for him and found him not, he examined keepers and commanded that they should put to death. And he went down from Judea to Caesarea and there abode. And Herod was highly displeased with them of Tyre and Sidon, but they came with one accord to him, having made Blastus the king chamberlain. Their friend desired peace, because their country was nourished by the king's country. And upon a set day Herod in royal apparel sat upon his throne and made oration unto them. And the people gave a shout, saying, it is the voice of a God, and not of a man. And immediately the angel of Yah smote him, because he gave not God the glory. And he was eaten of worms and gave up the ghost. See, Lord get you up out of here when that pride get lifted up. See, but that's a whole difference here. The people would much rather him reign over. It was the same difference if you go back. When the people was coming out of the wilderness, who they wanted to reign over? They wanted Yah to reign over them, or they wanted to go back to be slaves in Egypt? They wanted to be slaves in Egypt. They didn't want this man to rule over them. Let's look at 1 Samuel 16. We come back to this.
I don't know why they chose that.
Well, hey, man, them niggas was crazy. And 9 times out of 10, we would have probably did the same thing. We got to be lucky we were born now and not then, because we might have not made it. You know what I'm talking about? Just the same way of not being alive then when the Lord was here. We might have not made it.
Oh, no, man. But if the cracker was to hang me from a tree and choose to live in a room, I think that's
1 Samuel 16, about verse 10. He said, again, Jesse made 7 of his sons to pass before Samuel. And Samuel said unto Jesse, Yah have not chosen these. And Samuel said unto Jesse, Hear all thy children. And he said, There remain yet the youngest, and behold, he keeps sheep. And Samuel said unto Jesse, Send and fetch him, for we will not sit down till he come hither. And he sent and brought him in. Now he was ruddy, and withal of a beautiful countenance, and goodly to look to. And Yah said, Arise, anoint him, for this is he. And then Samuel took the horn of oil and anointed him in the midst of his brethren, and the Spirit of Yah came upon David from that day forward. So Samuel rose up and went to Ramah, but the Spirit of Yah departed from Saul, and an evil spirit from Yah troubled him. Now you see, the Spirit went away from Saul. You know, in Acts 10, that's when, in 1 Samuel 10, that's when Saul got the Spirit to come on him. So you see, it's not a continuing thing that we mentioned earlier. You can look at 2 Chronicles 15, the Spirit came on Asa. If he already had it, it wouldn't have to come on him now, would it? Which means if something come on you, it's going to depart. Did the spirit come on and depart on and off Samson too? You got niggas stupid enough like, I ain't gonna cut my lock, that's my strength. I'm like Samson. The locks wasn't the reason why Samson had strength. Samson had strength because he was a Nazarite. Being a Nazarite is more than just having some locks. Being a Nazarite is being wholly consecrated to God. Wholly set apart to Yah in every shape, form, and fashion. YESHUA by definition was a Nazarite. That's a whole nother thing for a whole nother time though. Y'all didn't know he was a Nazarite? You knew that? I know you figured. You knew that though? Because, I mean, a Nazarite is in Numbers the 6th chapter. That's a vow that's saying you're going to separate yourself to God. Don't you think YESHUA was separated himself to God? He told you in Jeremiah, I sanctified you to be a prophet unto the nations. I knew you before I even formed you in the belly. Man was already set apart by God. That's why he said, I set myself apart by the truth. He was telling you then when he said that, I'm a Nazarite. I sanctified myself by the truth. Ain't that what a Nazarite do? Even though they were kind of twisted, like, well, how is he a Nazarite? He drinking wine though. Yo, he drunk wine. He told you that. He told his disciple. What he told his disciple before he went in the heavenly place? Dwight. You know what he told him? You know what he told him? He told him, I won't drink this fruit of the vine till I drink it new with you in my Father's kingdom. You know why he couldn't drink the fruit of the vine no more? According to the law. The law say high priest can't drink no wine when he go into the Holy of Holies. When he go into the set apart place to make reconciliation for the people with offering, he can't drink no wine. So it makes sense that he tell him, I can't drink no wine no more. I'm about to descend and depart. When I go in the grave and come back out, and then after the 40 days I walk with y'all, I'm going to depart. I can't drink no wine and go into the holy place. You got to keep the law. That makes sense for you why he ain't drink no more. But he sat there and told, I ain't going to drink it no more with you till I drink it new.
So when it's new,
When he talking about drinking it new, he talking about everybody being changed. He talking about, you know what I'm saying, because the old covenant, like this, that's why he say men straightway, he say when the new wine come, he say men don't desire the new wine, they straightway desire the old. That's why all these niggas want to clutch and hold to the promises that was in the old covenant instead of relinquishing it and going to the greater and better promises that's in the new. That's what he's sitting there telling you. We got something better than what you had. When you get something better than what you had, you never want to let go of the old. You want to go to the new. You still want to try to cleave to the old. Because you can't really see how better the new is. Because you're so used to the old. You know what I'm talking about? See, a lot of dudes that, hey man, we know we got to keep the law. We know we got to abide in the Torah and this, that, there, and the other. But a lot of them can't see the spiritual aspects because they locked onto the new. That's why they tell a nigga you got to wear fringes. They can't see the greatness in the new. They can't see the glory in the new. So I'd rather stay carnal than to be spiritual. And a lot of times, a lot of people make that same mistake. They're dealing with the word. I'd rather stay carnal and in the spot that I'm in than elevating going after this new thing. Because this new thing is better than what I had. But you're comfortable with what you had, so you don't want to move to something new. Sometimes you got to go and get out your comfort zone. Don't tell you that in the gym. They say if you're comfortable in the gym, you ain't training right. Well, if you're comfortable in the word, you ain't walking right. But let's go back to this Genesis. Let me show you something in Genesis 4. I think it's about chapter 42. Might be 44. I remember what's happening in a couple minutes. A little minutes since I looked at it. It might be Genesis 47. Oh, here it is, Genesis 46. Genesis 46, about verse 31. It says, And Joseph said unto his brethren and unto his father's house, I will go up and show Pharaoh, and say unto him, My brethren and my father's house, which were in the land of Canaan, are come unto me. And the men are shepherds, for their trade has been to feed cattle, and they have brought their flocks and their herds and all that they have. And it shall come to pass, when Pharaoh shall call you, ye shall say, What is your occupation? That ye shall say, Thy servant's trade hath been about cattle from our youth even till now, both we and also our fathers, that you may dwell in the land of Goshen. For every shepherd is an abomination unto the Egyptians. Anybody that's a shepherd of the Lord, they're an abomination to somebody that's a sinner. Because that's what his man just told. He just said shepherds are an offense to the Egyptians. They say they hate him. They say he tell them, your job's something else. But look at this here. Look at 1 Thessalonians 4 and 8. He said every shepherd is an abomination to an Egyptian. Why do you think some of the people hated David? He was a shepherd. He was a leader of the people. Why do you think they hated the Lord? He was an abomination to the people. The book say in Proverbs, the just are an abomination to the unjust, and the unjust are an abomination to the just. They hated this man. He was a just man. That's why Pilate said, I don't find no fault in him. I wash my hands. 1 Thessalonians 4:8. Look what he said. He said, he therefore that despised not man, but God, who's given unto us his Holy Spirit. You know what I'm talking about? So if these men were shepherds, these were the sons of Jacob. These were men of God. They say, man, the Egyptians despise shepherds. That's an abomination to them. So don't you think the world going to despise the shepherds of the Lord? Look at John 15. Look what he told them. Because what the word for abomination? What's the word for abomination? Something that's offensive. Something that you hate. John 15 and 18. He said, if the world hates you, know that it hated me before it hated you. For if you were of the world will love its own. But because you are not of the world, but I have chosen you out of the world, therefore the world hates you. You know the Lord had chosen Israel above the Egyptians. So it would make sense that the Egyptians hated them. So if the Lord done chose you out of the world, you think these people going to love you? Look at 1 John 4 and 4. Huh? You about to doze off on me, Jim Bandit? You call that nigga Jim Bandit. That nigga country ain't even been in the country. 1 John 4 and 4. He said, you are of God, little children, and have overcome them, because greater is he that is in you than he that is in the world. They are of the world, therefore speak they of the world, and the world hear them. We are of God, and he that know God hear us. He that is not of God hear not us. Hereby we know the spirit of truth and the spirit of error. So if a man who is a shepherd who's been sent to speak the word, if you are God, you're going to hear God's words. That's what the Lord told you. You're going to hear him. He said, but if you're not a God, you're not going to hear him. And I'm guaranteeing you're going to be diametrically opposed to one another. How many people have you ever seen that they run across and they actually see a true shepherd of God, they actually got love for him? The Lord said the world hated me first because I testify of it that its deeds are evil. Ain't every true shepherd going to be testifying of the world that its deeds are evil? When you look at these dudes, are they doing that? Niggas just talking about a nigga hating on them, they don't like him because they disagree on matters. But ain't nobody hating you because of how you living or what you preaching. Nobody don't care nothing about some of the minuscule and minor things y'all talking about. And then guess what? You'll never want to be the nigga be like, I'm being persecuted and you being persecuted in vain. Because the book say, let not him that is deceived trust in vanity, for vanity shall be his recompense. When you trust in nothing, you're going to get nothing. That's rough. That's serious right there. Let's go back to Exodus 2. So we get ready to call it a day. Huh? Yep, indeed. Exodus 2. So this man just sat here and said, who made you a prince and a judge over us? In verse 14. So we seeing they said the same thing about the Lord. Because what did they ask the Lord? Who gave you this authority? Because if they asking him who gave him the, matter of fact, that just popped in my mind. Come on back to the gospel. Let's look at something in the gospel. It popped in my mind. Thank the Lord. We touched on this a little bit last night. Let me see where it is right now. Let's go over here to Mark. Let's go over here to Mark. Mark 11, 27. Mark 11:27. And they come again to Jerusalem as he was walking in the temple, and then there came to him the chief priests and scribes and elders. And they say unto him, by what authority dost thou these things? Who gave this authority to do these things? Don't that sound like what them two men were saying? Who made you a judge over us or a ruler over us? Who giving you the authority to do what you're doing? YESHUA answered and said to him, I will also ask of you one question, and answer me, and I will tell you by what authority I do these things. The baptism of John, was it from heaven or of men? Answer me. Lord didn't even play with him, did he? You say, was John doing that? Was John sent to do that, or did he do it on his own? That's a tight question for him right there. There's no wiggle room on that, is it? He said, and they reason with themselves, saying, if we shall say from heaven, he will say, well, why didn't you not believe him? So there's a difference here. If the man is sent by God and you don't believe him, you ought to go to hell then, don't you? You ought to go to hell then. What else he say? But if we shall say of men, they feared the people, for all of the men counted John that he was a prophet indeed. So if they say if it was of men, they know the people gonna stone him because the people believe John was a god. You saying John did this out of his own mind? They answered and said unto Yeshua, we cannot tell. Yeshua answered and said unto them, neither do I tell you by what authority I do these things. He said, since you can't tell John the Baptist was God, I ain't gonna tell you who sent me to do this here now. And when you look at some of these wicked niggas and you ask, is that man sent by God? Or is he doing that on his own? Them niggas ain't gonna ask the same thing. Guess what these niggas walking the earth would do if they was living during the time of the Lord? They'll be the ones that say, I can't tell. You know what I'm talking about? Because they were, and you know what they was worried about? They desired the praise of men more than the praise of God. You know what I'm talking about? Because he told them something different in Matthew. Look what he told them in Matthew. Go to Matthew. Look what he told them in Matthew. See, you don't want to have that type of mind that these people have, man, because it's detrimental to your health. It's real detrimental to your health. Let me find where it's at. Matthew 21. Look about verse 28. We just sat there and looked at that, what he said that there about this here. Matter of fact, 21 and 28. He said, but what think you? A certain man had 2 sons, and he came to the first and said, son, go to work today in my vineyard. And he answered and said, I will not. But afterward he repented and went. And he came to the second and said likewise. And he answered and said, I go, sir, and went not. Which of them twain did the will of his father? How many of y'all have sat there and said, so your people told you to do something? You was like, all right, I don't want to do it. But you went and did it anyway. And how many times you done told your people you were going to do something and you didn't do it? Huh? Don't be quiet. Now, why everybody you niggas sit there quiet? I said, how many of y'all done that?
You said how many times have you?
Oh, well, I'm sorry. Pardon me. I know everybody done did it. I done did it.
I did.
So you need to look at that. So which one do the will of his father? The one that said I ain't going to do it, but went and did it? Or the one that said I'm going to do it and didn't do it? Exactly. That's what the Lord said. Now look what he told them. They answered Yeshua and said, he said, whether them twain did they say unto him the first. Yeshua said unto them, truly I say unto you, the publicans and the harlots go into the kingdom of God before you. For John came unto you in the way of righteousness, and you believed him not. But the publicans and the harlots believed him. And ye, when you had seen it, repented not afterward, that you might believe him. So he's sitting there telling you, these sinners heard the man, and they know he came in the way of righteousness. They believed him. He said, but you niggas seen it, and still didn't stop doing what you were doing. You know what I'm talking about? See, now when I look at it, when you look at these false prophets and these people who teaching people wrong, irregardless of if they Sabbath keepers or not, it's a lot of people, they will see a true man of God preaching the word. They see the man coming in the way of righteousness and get mad when other people start listening to them. But you seeing it and you ain't repenting and that man coming in the way of righteousness. You know you ought to go to hell. You know you ought to go to hell. I'm talking about first class ticket. You ought to go. So you have to sit there and look at that. Because that's why they say the publicans and the harlots going to come in first, because they're going to hear the word in turn. Not just say, oh, I believe he's a man of God and that's the end of it. No! They're going to hear he a man of God and stop doing it. Because that's what it means to repent. That means to turn. Any of you niggas ever made a U-turn?
Yeah.
So you got to look at it with your life. Why you ain't made a U-turn with your life? You was going down Sin Avenue, now turn up and go down Righteous Way. Why you can't do that? Why is it so hard to formulate in people's mind to do that? Because everything else comes before the word. You know what I'm talking about? For a lot of people, my job come before the word. My people come before the word. I want to do this. I need to get this done. This, that, everything else come before the word. So guess what? The Lord say, since those things came before me, you don't get nothing from me. It's just that simple. Go back to Exodus 2. It's something in 1 Chronicles 4 I'm going to show you. We might just finish this here and do that separate. Huh? You alright? A little tired? I mean, you have to do it. I can't do it. I feel like Brian. I can't do the story. You don't have to do the story. You had that on point. I can't even front. You had it down pat. Probably took you about what, 2-3 weeks to master that? Oh man, this guy. So you see this here. Now he said, who made us a judge? I'm sorry. Now he said, who made you a judge? Let's look at John 5. Let's see who made him a judge, and then we'll look at John 8. Y'all all right? Nicole, you see how this tie in? I know Brittany after a while, some of this stuff new to Nicole. I know she ain't never heard none of this stuff like this here before. You see how the Lord is in all this stuff? This stuff makes sense for you? Look at John 5:19. Then answered Yeshua and said unto them, Truly, truly, I say unto you, the Son can do nothing of himself, but what he seeth the Father do, for the things that soever he do, these also do the Son likewise. For the Father loved the Son and showed him all things that he himself do, and he will show him greater works than these, that you may marvel. For as the Father raised up the dead and quickened them, even so the Son quickened whom he will. For the Father judged no man, but committed all judgment unto the Son. Wow! So now we see who made him a judge and a ruler. We just seen who made him a prince. Now we just seen who made him a judge. Look at John 8. Let's see what he tells you people. John 8 and about verse 14. Just beat the page up then. Yeshua answered and said unto him, Though I bear record of myself, yet my record is true. For I know whence I came and whither I go, but you cannot tell whence I come and whither I go. He said, Ye judge after the flesh. I judge no man. And yet if I judge, my judgment is true, for I'm not alone, but I and the Father that sent me. Man just sat there and told you, I sit here and tell you who gave me power to judge. So when he said that, because they basically asked Yeshua, who made you a ruler and a judge over us? And that's what they were asking him, who gave you the authority to do this? Who gave you the authority to be a judge? Same thing they had Moses. That's what they asked him. Lord just told you who made me a judge and a ruler. He just told you who made me. Matter of fact, look at Hebrews 11. I don't think that's in there. I can't remember what. That's been so long since I looked at that. When he was talking about, I forget the epistle letter. When he was talking about how he was showing when they came and said something to Moses, how that was a similitude, how he was the one who was going to bring them out of Egypt. Being a judge and a ruler to bring them out of captivity. And what was that foreshadowing to? That Yeshua would come out and bring us out of what? Out of Egypt. Out of bondage. Out of sin. I just can't remember the epistle letter of sin. I thought it was Hebrews 11, but I was mistaken. Hey man, I ain't got no problem saying, hey, I was mistaken on the part of that though. Say what?
Yeah, stutter?
Yes, you did. You just kind of said it kind of loud. Put some bass in your voice.
Yeah, stutter? You heard me crystal clear, didn't you?
He's closer to you. Say it again so I can hear you.
What?
Say it again.
What?
Say it again.
What?
Say it again.
For what? I already said it once. You've been listening.
No, be a man and let that be known. Cause
I was. I let it be known.
But I ain't hear you.
Open your ears and clean your ass at your ears.
I ain't clean it, so say it again so I can hear you.
And then you want filthy one.
What you mean? You're supposed to have earwax.
Yeah.
As long as you don't have build-up.
Yeah.
Yeah, appreciate it. Hebrews 3rd chapter. I'm going to punch me somebody, y'all.
How you punching?
I'm working right now.
I ask you that every day.
As soon as I clock out. As soon as I clock out. As soon as I clock out.
You can do it before you can clock in, nigga. Chump, nigga.
Where that is in Hebrews 3. Where you take that at? No, that ain't what it was. I've been so long since I don't even remember last time I read that. Oh, I did read it. He said a similitude, the same way that was a similitude of him bringing them out of Egypt. It's just been so long since I looked at it. I just remember what it said. But guess what though? Guess what though? I'm about to whoop me a nigga. Ooh, woo. I'm talking about a nigga named Conrad. You know a nigga named Conrad? I know that nigga.
That's my middle name.
I know
what you talking about.
I know a nigga named Conrad.
The white Conrad.
God. Junior.
She said she knows somebody named Conrad too. Light skinned and short and bald.
I ain't bald and I ain't short, nigga. So who you talking about?
I'm talking about Conrad.
Me and him. I ain't short and I ain't bald, nigga. So who you talking
Conrad,
about?
I know he a junior. If you find it, good. If not, we'll keep on going. Go back to the executive too. What you call me?
Did I stutter?
Yeah, did I stutter? Did I stutter?
Huh?
Exodus 2 and 15. He said, Now when Pharaoh heard this thing, he sought to slay Moses, but Moses fled from the face of Pharaoh and dwelt in the land of Midian, and he sat down by a well. Then when they heard Yeshua was a judge and a ruler, they sent them people to slay him. They wanted to kill him. Many times they went to take him to Herod and Pilate to kill him. He said, Now the priest of Midian had 7 daughters. They go to 7 again. And there came and drew water and filled the troughs to water their father's flocks. And the shepherds came and drove them away. But Moses stood up and helped them and watered the flock. You see what it said? It said the shepherds drove these 7 women away. Where's another place where it mentions 7 women?
About the oil, right? No.
Mm-hmm. Isaiah the 4th chapter, when he says 7 women shall come to one man. Those 7 women, that's a similitude to the 7 assemblies in Revelation 1. I had a conversation with a man about this the other day. If you sit here and you seeing that there's 7 assemblies in Revelation 1, don't you know we ought to be able to go in the scriptures and find a verification and a correlation to this? Now we got 2 witnesses sitting here telling you. It says 7 daughters. 7 daughters came to this man to say, yeah, we want our flocks watered. And they say the shepherds drove them away. Then we just read about the shepherds scattering the flock. Then we just read the same thing, Paul telling you that these same men will come with doctrines of devils because men have set up their own priests. And that they through covenants, they making merchandise of you. And they teaching you doctrines of devils with seducing spirits telling you to do stuff you ain't got no business. Look what else he telling. Look what else he telling. Verse 18. And when they came to rule out their father, he said, how is it that you're come as soon? Are you come soon today? And they said, an Egyptian delivered us out of the hand of the shepherds, and also drew water enough for us and watered the flock. So they said it was an Egyptian, but they were talking about Moses. That judge and that ruler came and delivered us out of the hand of false shepherds. Because remember, we all this started from what? The Lord saying, I looked upon them and they were sheep that had no shepherd. I had compassion on them. He said he delivered them out of the hands of these false prophets. And he watered the flock. Now when you go look in Genesis 29, you see Jacob coming and watering the flocks when a stone was moved from the mouth of a well. Now when was the stone removed when it come to the Lord? When he rose. And when he rose, he was able to give the Spirit to do what? Water the flock. Because he said, if you're thirsty, come and drink. And if any man believe on me, as the scripture has said, he said, out of his belly shall flow rivers of living water. That's what Moses came to do. I delivered the people out the hands of false prophets so that I could water the flock, that they could get the word and get the Spirit. See, let's go to look at Paul, see what St. Paul said. And then we'll go to John 10. Look at something that Paul said here. 1 Thessalonians, please. Chapter 2, about verse 3. 1 Thessalonians chapter 2, verse 3. He said, for our exhortation was not of deceit, nor uncleanness, nor in guile. Anything Moses came to do with his encouragement, was he lying or coming with sin or with lies? Neither did YESHUA either. He said, for as we are allowed to be put in trust with the gospel, even so we speak, not as pleasing men, but God, which try our hearts. Neither at any time use we flattering words, as ye know, nor a cloak of covetous, God is witness, nor of men sought we glory, neither of you, nor yet of others, that we might have been burdensome as the apostles of the Messiah. He said, but we were gentle among you, even as a nurse cherishes her children. So being affectionately desirous of you, we were willing to have imparted unto you not the gospel of God only, but also our own souls, because you were dear unto us. Wasn't Moses willing to lose his own life for the people when they sinned? He asked the Lord, blot me out your book. He said, he that commits sin, I'm going to blot him out the book. We know the Lord laid his life down. It was many times Moses stood in the gap and was willing to give up his life for the people. That's what he's sitting here telling you. He said, not only are we willing to impart the gospel, we're willing to impart our life unto you too. See, that's what a true shepherd going to do in it. Because remember what David said? When he said, oh man, I had kept some sheep, and I took out a lion and a bear. Delivered my sheep out the mouths of lions and bears. What did he compare false prophets to? Ravenous wolves. You know what I'm talking about? Straight up and down. That's what a shepherd going to do. He going to protect his flock. He said, the false shepherd, they don't do that. He said, they don't do that. Look what else he say in verse 9. He say, for we remember, brethren, our labor and travail for laboring night and day, because we would not be chargeable to any of you. We preached unto you the gospel of God. He saying, ye are witnesses. And God also, how holily and justly and unblameably we behaved ourselves among you that believe. Now when you sit there and look at it, how many of these dudes who preaching the word behaving themselves in this fashion that you can see, look here, I know that's a guard right there. See, look in the first chapter of this very same epistle. Look what he says. About verse 5. Because he told you, he said, for our gospel came not unto you in word only, but also in power, and in the Holy Ghost, and in much assurance, as ye know what manner of men we are among you, what manner of men we were among you for your sake. And you become the followers of us and of the Lord, receiving the word in much affliction with joy of the Holy Ghost, so that ye were examples to all that believe in Macedonia and Achaia. You see how this man just told you? He said, we didn't come to you but in word, but in power also. So if they coming in power, what they coming in? They coming in the Spirit. And then he said, you were able to see what type of men we were among you for your sake. And this man say, look here, and you became followers of us, and you receiving the word with much affliction. But but through that affliction you had joy in the spirit, because you know what you received, be an example to the people, because that's what a shepherd gonna do. Then Yeshua set the example, and he's sitting here talking about he watering the flock. Let's go to John 10, so we call this wrap. This is something I want to show y'all in First Chronicles 4 real fast, and you're gonna take that long. Not in First Chronicles, you're gonna take that long. You got somewhere to be? Got somewhere to go? John 10 and 1. John 10 and 1. Truly, truly, I say unto you, he that enter not in by the door into the sheepfold, but climb up some other way, the same is a thief and a robber. But he that enter in by the door is the shepherd of the sheep. What he just said about how the pastors scattering the flock. See, they were thieves and robbers. They were stealing from the flock. He say, to him the porter opened, and the sheep hear his voice, and he called his own sheep by name and lead them out. Ain't that what Moses prayed for y'all to do in Numbers? Ain't that what it said what David was doing? Now you see Yeshua saying he do the same. And when he put forth his own sheep, he go before them. Same thing again. And the sheep follow him, for they know his voice. And the stranger will they not follow, but will flee from him, for they know not the voice of stranger. So you got to sit there and look at it. Anybody that's following a false Israelite preacher, anybody that's following a false Sunday preacher, you're not of his flock, because you're following the voice of a stranger. Because remember, look at 2 Corinthians 11. And about verse 4. 2 Corinthians 11 and 4. He said, for if they come that preach another Yeshua, whom we have not preached, or if you receive another spirit which you have not received, or another gospel which you have not accepted, you might bear well with him. See, that's what they're doing. They done accepted another Jesus. You know what I'm saying? The Messiah they out here preaching in the world, whether it's Israelite dudes or Sunday dudes, that's another Messiah. They got preaching them, because what's the only way to preach the Messiah? What? Glover, Pale, Nicole, Brittany. What's another way to preach him? What's the only way to preach him? What is that way to preach him? Out the scriptures. The only way you can preach him is out the scriptures. So if the Messiah they preaching don't line up with the scriptures, then what are they doing? They preaching another Yahshua. They preaching another Jesus thing. You can't preach him but out the scriptures. And we sat there and we can see John the Baptist alluded to this man, preaching this man out the scriptures when he was there. Paul did it. Peter did it. The Lord himself did it. So if you ain't going, Apollos from Alexandria did it. He said publicly through the scriptures, Apollos showed them people Yahshua was the Messiah. He didn't sit there and say Jesus is your Savior, Yahshua is your Savior, he's the Messiah. He didn't do all of that. That man opened up that book and said, check this out. Whoop, 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 whoop. Oh yeah, that's him. Paul did it. Peter did it. All the apostles did it. When Philip sat down with the Ethiopian eunuch, what you think he did? That's what shepherds going to be able to do. Didn't he say a bit? Look what a bishop got to be able to do. Look what a shepherd. Look at 1 Timothy 3. This is what verse it is. We pray the Lord. Verse 6. That's all we came here for. Verse 6. We'll look at it and say Titus in another spot. 1 Timothy 3 and 6. Look what he say. He say a bishop can't be a novice. He say not a novice being lifted up with pride. He fall in condemnation of the devil. So when we looked at it earlier, when the apostles ordained elders, that means they weren't novices. One. Y'all know what it means to be a novice. A novice is a rookie. This is somebody who do this something inside like this here. Like how you talking about you don't crank up on the basketball court because there's novices on the court. These are not men and this is what they do. You see novices in the weight room. Niggas who lift weights, but that's not what they do. You can walk in the weight room and see somebody like he lift weights. You know what I'm talking about? Not just on you pulling somebody's job, but you can look at him and tell, Carl know what he's doing. Anybody that's ever been in the gym, you done looked in there and seen somebody know, oh, he know what he's doing. He ain't no novice. Because that's a beginner. You know what I'm talking about? That's what it means to be a novice. You a beginner. You don't really know what you're doing. Look at Titus. He said it even clearer in Titus. Titus 1, verse 9. He said, holding fast the faithful word as he has been taught, that he may be able by sound doctrine to both exhort and to convince the gainsayer. He said he could be able to encourage and convince gainsayers. That's what the Lord used to do with the word then. He used to sit there and bring it to them to encourage and to convince them. And what happened every time he brought the word? They ain't asking questions no more. Or they tried to ask him questions to catch him up and tempt him, and he crashed them every time. That's going back to no weapon against thee shall prosper. He said, but every tongue that shall rise against thee in judgment, you're going to do what? Condemn. He said, this is the heritage of the servants of Yah, and their righteousness is of me. Everybody like the Lord to speak Isaiah 54:17 on the plane. No weapon formed against him going to prosper. That's going right back to his preachers. Because I was talking about the Lord. Did any weapon formed against him prosper? Didn't he condemn every tongue that rose against him in judgment? And we just read earlier, anybody that doeth righteousness is born of him. Little children, let no man deceive you. He that is righteous even as he is righteous. Because it don't make no sense for him to send shepherds that are contrary to him doing it. It just don't make no sense to do it. Go back to John 10. John 10, verse 6. He said, this parable spake YESHUA unto them, but they understood not which things they were which he spake unto them. Then said YESHUA unto them again, truly, truly, I say unto you, I am the door of the sheep. All that ever came before me are thieves and robbers, but the sheep did not hear them. I am the door. By me, if any man enter in, he shall be saved, and shall go in and out, and find pasture. Because for them to go in and out, that means he got to lead them in and out, don't he? He say the thief come not before to steal and to kill and to destroy. I come that they might have life and that they might have it more abundantly. He said they're telling you all about whether it was in Ezekiel 34 or Jeremiah 23. He was sitting here telling you all them false prophets before me came to steal, kill, and destroy. Remember we read about Hananiah who taught rebellion against Yah by telling the people they wasn't going to be in Babylon that long. We can go through all this book and find people who taught the people wrong. Because what happened? There wasn't no king. They did what was right before their eyes. That's what was wrong with the scribes and Pharisees. There wasn't no king. Let's do what's right in our eyesight. Because he said, y'all come up with traditions making the commandments of God of none effect. But we're going to do what we seem to be right. He said, I am the good shepherd, and the shepherd give his life for the sheep. But he that is a hireling and not the shepherd, whose own sheep are not, see the wolf coming and leave the sheep and flee, and the wolf catch them and scatter the sheep. Because guess what? When you don't care nothing about the people, you let the false prophets come in and get them. You let the false prophets come in and get them. You know what I'm talking about? That's what you do. And that means the flock ain't getting watered in, is it? Because that means they ain't getting the word, which means they can't get the spirit, which means they damned to go to hell. A true shepherd going to feed the flock and water the flock to give them the food and water what they need, which tie right back to John 6. He that drink my blood and eat my flesh, I dwell in him and he dwell in me. He live by me as I live by the Father, and I'll raise him up at the last day. Because you can't come about the grave without the word in you. And how else you going to get the word in you unless you return to the chief shepherd? And you can't return to the chief shepherd unless you hearken unto the shepherds that he set up to feed the people. There's no way you can do it. What else he say? He say, the hireling, because he is a hireling, care not for the sheep. I am the good shepherd and know my sheep and have known of mine. Man say he know his sheep, and his sheep know who he is, and they follow him. You know what I'm talking about? But nevertheless, let's look at John 5 and 39, and then I'll show you this thing in 1 Chronicles 4 while it's still in my mind. No, you looking crazy? You want to go? We can go. It's go time. It's go time. John 5 and 39. Search the scriptures, for in them you think you have eternal life, and they are they which testify of me. And you will not come to me that you might have life. See, that's the people problem. They don't want to come to the shepherd. They don't want life. They don't want life. The man say, whomsoever receive whom I send, receive me. And whosoever receive me, receive him that sent me. Because why? Because they sinners and shepherds are an abomination unto them. That's why dudes be like, I ain't sitting up under no pastor. I ain't joining no camp. I ain't no follower of no man. And you sitting here see Paul say, be followers of me as I'm a follower of the Lord. You sitting there telling, I don't follow no man. That's why you going to hell. Niggas too proud to say, you know what? I can take direction from a man. But they'll go to work though and to follow a man there. Boss say, hey, I need you to fix them burgers like this. I need you to move that fork. I need you to move that box. Nigga, move. Then get on Facebook and in their YouTube video, the white man is the devil. You go to his job every day and do everything he tell you to do. And don't bat an eye, don't say a word. You know what I'm talking about? Straight up hypocrites now. That's what they take. I don't follow no man. I ain't going to be part of no camp. Get up and go to their job every single day and tell it and do what that man say. And then come with this excuse of, I hate being in Babylon. They got us in captivity. That's why I got to work on the Sabbath. Oh, really? Oh, really? You don't say, you know, ain't lying. That's what they say, though, don't we? We're in captivity. We're in captivity. That's why I got to work on the Sabbath. But you on Facebook and YouTube, I hate the white man. He the devil. Esau is the devil. The white man is the devil. That's what they do now. That's what they do. You know what I'm talking about? Don't have no problem listening to their manager, supervisor, whoever. That man say, you get your black behind nigga here at 7:30 to 5 on the Sabbath, nigga, you ain't got no job. He say, yes, sir. I be here early in the morning, sir. I be here early, sir. But you know what I'm talking about? What you'll do if your job told you that, what? You be like, I'll be putting it in my letter of resignation.
I only told you once. I ain't told you twice.
Oh man.
I might tell you twice.
They say I might tell you twice out of common courtesy, but you know how I feel. I show you. Better than I can tell you. You know what I'm talking about?
So you want, I can't work on that day.
And I meant that.
I still on the schedule. Hey man, you can't come in. They said, well, all right. The day rolls around.
I won't be here. I'll be home. You know what I'm talking about? But I never mess with because I know what you're going to do. You know what I'm talking about? But that's just real though. You got to look at the level of hypocrisy that men say. Because that's excuses niggas say. I seen a nigga say I had to shave my beard because of Babylon. You didn't have to do nothing. You shaved your beard because you wanted to. You don't know, though you're not sinning for shaving your beard. But you shaved your beard because you wanted to. You go to work on the Sabbath because you wanted to. Man, she wanted me to sleep with her. You put your penis in that woman because you wanted to. Man, I had to take it. You stole it because you wanted to. The book say when a man is tempted, he is drawn away by what? His own lust. His own lust. That's what you wanted to do. Don't be sitting around here talking about them people, but you get on. That's the part I don't understand. On a natural sense, you will do what these people tell you to do. You don't break these people's laws. You get on your job. You do what these people tell you. But when it comes to talking about you got to take direction and be under the authority of a man, when it comes to, I don't follow no man. I don't follow no man. I study to show myself approved. How you going to study to show yourself approved with something you weren't given? Because you know what that's going back to? What we just read. You setting yourself up to be a priest. Who sent you, nigga? That man say, I'm going to give you pastors according to my heart. That will feed you with knowledge and understanding. He say the Lord has ordained all those that preach the gospel going to live of the gospel. Man turn right back around and say that the people are sheep without shepherd. And the man say, I sent these 12 out to do it. Bless those who believe on them through your name. And they turned around and ordained elders so people could believe on this man through the preaching that they did. And you going to sit here and tell me you're not going to have to listen to a man and learn their word. You're a lie from hell. You're a lie from hell. It's simple as that. Niggas not going to impress me by how long you say you've been dealing with the word. I'm not impressed. I'm going to look at what you're teaching you in your skill level. Really, first and foremost, I'm going to look at how you're living if I got an opportunity to view that. That's what I'm going to look at. Your life ain't right, nigga. Hey, man, that don't move me, cuz. But that's the reason what they won't do. They won't come to the man that they may have life. Look what he say. I receive not honor from men, but I know you. You have not the love of God in you. That's what we know. See, that's what he tell you. So I know you niggas. You don't love God. It's not in you. That's why you don't want no shepherd. That's why you're doing this and you're doing that. You don't love God. He said, I come in my Father's name and you receive me not. Another shall come in his own name and him you will receive. How can you believe which receive honor one of another and seek not the honor that comes from God only? Do not think that I will accuse you to the Father. There is one that accused you, even Moses, in whom you trust. For had you believed Moses, you would have believed me, for he wrote of me. Even those who claim they believe in the Messiah, they trust Moses more than they trust Yeshua. They trust Moses more than they trust Yeshua. When the man just sat here and told you, if you would have believed Moses, you would have believed me, because Moses was right about me. We just seen that in Exodus 2, who he was right about. He was right about Yeshua. Yeshua and Moses, like I said, them 7 daughters, who the sheep were scattering, that's the 7 assembly. Going right back to them same 7 daughters, coming to this one man, saying, hey man, take away this reproach. Because the only way he can take away the reproach, he got to water the flock. Same thing he did. Same thing he did. Because that's what shepherds are set up over. Assemblies, aren't they? They set up over congregations, ain't they? Nigga can't even see that. And guess what they gonna tell us, Pep? You using conjuncture. No, nigga, your skill level ain't on point, nigga. You know what I'm talking about? God ain't sent you, nigga. Point blank, period. And I tell you that to your face. I tell it to your wife. I tell it to your mammy. I tell it to your children. I tell it to the niggas following behind you, listening to your garbage whack teachers. I don't care who you is. I have no problem with it. Because if you sit here and a man open up his book and plainly show you the correlation between this and the Messiah and you reject it, you ought to burn in hell. You ought to burn in hell. Because the man say you trust Moses, you believe Moses. If you to believe him, you to believe me. He say, I ain't going to accuse you of Moses whom you trust. Because I know you don't trust me. Because the man say, if you would search the scriptures, you'll see they talking about me. Then you would come to me, that you might have life, but you won't come to me. He said, I know why you won't come. You don't love God. You don't love God. That's why you won't come. Because you don't love God. David loved God. Abraham loved God. Isaac and Jacob loved God. They loved this man. They trusted this man with every ounce of their being. When this man spoke his word, they believed it. They didn't sit here, I need some proof. I need some proof. They didn't need no proof. What David said when he told him, I raise up a son out of your body. He said, even as you said it, let it be so. He said, let it be so. See, we don't have that type of mind. That's why people ain't going to be saved. They got, like I said, that's why the man say, y'all admit the weightier matters of the law like judgment, mercy, and faith. You niggas don't use righteous judgment, you don't show mercy and compassion, and you don't believe. Why would this man use you to be a shepherd over his people and you lack these three components? You don't care about the flock. You don't show mercy to them. You don't execute. When these people come and ask you, should I do this? And you don't give them judgment according to my word. And then you do not preach to them for them to believe my word. How can you preach the Messiah to me for me to believe on? Every Israelite nigga screaming, most high in Christ, faith in Christ. You ask them what it means, they can't tell you. You show them a script that's talking about the Lord, nigga, no, that ain't talking about him. You have no faith. Listen when he tell you. That's why the Lord finna tell you this here. For if you believe not his writings, how should you believe my words? If you didn't believe what Moses tell you, you're surely not going to believe what Yahshua say. Well, hallelujah for Yahshua for the word. Y'all understood all of that?